It's 6 o'clock. I'm John Kay. Good morning. The headlines. The Prime Minister says Norway's not the answer. A Hertfordshire man makes a plea for Iran to release his father. And Bobby's on the beat. They're on their way out.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
David Cameron will today challenge claims by campaigners who want Britain to leave the European Union and adopt a looser relationship modelled on Norway's. Mr Cameron will argue that Norway still has to follow rules imposed by Brussels and accept EU migrants. He's travelling to Iceland for the Northern Future Forum, a conference of Nordic countries in the UK, which will discuss his plans for a referendum on Britain's EU membership. A Hertfordshire man's calling for his 76-year-old father, who's unwell, to be released from an Iranian prison on compassionate grounds. Kamal Farougi, who holds dual British and Iranian citizenship, has served more than half of an 8-year sentence for espionage. His son Kamran from Hertsmere says his family are desperate to see him.
My daughters have grown up half their lives not seeing him, having seen him a lot when they were younger, and they keep asking when he's coming home. We don't have any answer to that question.
The Business Secretary, Sajid Javid, will travel to Brussels later to discuss current pressures on the steel industry. He'll raise government concerns around cheap steel imports. Steel workers from several areas are expected to lobby MPs in Westminster this morning ahead of an Opposition Day debate on the issue. A leading cancer charity says thousands of cases of the disease could be diagnosed at an earlier stage. Cancer Research UK has analysed 2 years of data and says there's an unacceptable variation in the speed of diagnosis between different parts of the country. Here's Jane Draper.
Many cancers in England are being diagnosed earlier, even with an overall rise in cases. But after looking at this new data covering 2 years, Cancer Research UK believes there's still room for improvement in many areas. The charity says if all regions had the same rate of early diagnosis as Bath, Gloucestershire, Swindon and Wiltshire, almost 20,000 cancer cases would be found sooner. NHS England says it's working with doctors towards giving all patients cancer test results within 4 weeks by 2020.
2 of the country's most senior police officers have signalled the era of routine patrols by bobbies on the beat has come to an end. The chairwoman of the National Police Chiefs Council and the Deputy Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police made the comments ahead of expected cuts to the policing budget next month. Nip Hopkins reports.
Speaking to Newsnight, Craig Mackey, Scotland Yard's Deputy Commissioner, said the threshold for investigating some crimes would rise. And in what would be an unprecedented move, the Met was looking to get private funding from banks and big business to pay for some programmes. Sarah Thornton, the head of the National Police Chiefs Council, said forces simply wouldn't have enough officers to conduct routine patrols everywhere. The policing minister, Mike Penning, said what mattered was how officers were deployed, not how many of them there were.
The weather for Pets, Hearts and Bucks. A cloudy morning ahead with heavy rain and the top temperature 14 Celsius, 57 Fahrenheit. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Music to make lunch too.
I see color bars when I come. Sergeant Rod broke the key off in the lock to where I come from. Sir, no sir, we have no power in the air. The battle's on the ground. You're just some dude with a stilted attitude that you learn from TV. You'll undo, but I'll be connecting everything. The traffic in my town, riding high again, high on the sound.
listening for your afternoon. Music to make lunch to.
Wanting me to ride into the sun. I ain't gonna go down, laying low again, high on the sound.
Across beds, hearts and bugs
This is Gagan Garawal.
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
You're gonna find me gone. Are you ready? 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 Baby, are you ready? Ready for that? Because it's loving. You wanna own my soul. You better hang on. Do what you grab a hold. Are you ready? 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 Baby, are you ready? Ready for that? You better take girl, listen here, girl, change your way for a better day, girl. Let's a groom and a cat girl. I wanna show you, yeah, when you're ready. You're gonna have love each and every night. You're gonna have love that's really out of sight. Are you ready? 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 Baby, are you ready? Ready for that? Na 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 na. Yes, I'm ready. Yes, I'm ready. Ready for that. You better change colors on hill, girl. Change your way for a better day, girl. It's a groom and a cat girl. I wanna show you, no. When you're ready, you're gonna have love each and every night. You're gonna have love that's really out of sight. Are you ready? 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 Baby, are you ready? Ready for that? Yes, are you ready? Ready. Are you ready? Baby, are you
This is Iain Lee.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
Riding the pleasure train.
Betsy, last week, this week.
Yes.
Stop banging on about it.
Oh,
We don't care. It's
I haven't
only you
mentioned
that's
it
affected.
once.
You just mentioned it then.
No.
Catherine Boyle is so nauseated by your continuing haranguing of the listener about your new job that she's taken the rest of the week off. So Danny Warbucks is Catherine.
Yep.
You're on the wrong microphone, dude.
I'm on the right microphone.
No, dude, you're on the wrong.
Right.
You're on the wrong one.
Okay. Is this... No.
No.
You want me to do it again?
Just go to the right
Is
microphone.
this one right?
He's going to get right on my, well, let's just say boobies, shall we?
what
let's
a
not even
great
say
hair
that.
you have.
Thank you so much indeed. Now, 03459 455 555. Today is the last day where you can call in with your tributes to Kelly Betts. You can do it. You can do it afterwards, but I'm putting the package together this afternoon. So, you know, I say putting the package together. What I mean is, I'm going to be just like putting clips over Coldplay karaoke.
That's a package.
Is it?
Yeah.
Flippin' heck, it turns out that what you lot do is a piece of cake. Mm-hmm. The Hertfordshire family of a 76-year-old man who's being held in an Iranian prison say they are worried about his health and are pleading for him to be released. Kamal Farougi holds dual British and Iranian citizenship and is over 4 years into an 8-year sentence for espionage, spying. Amnesty International have called for Iranian authorities to ensure he receives the medical care he requires. Kelly Betts has got more. What happened to Kamal? Incredible story.
It is. So he was working in Iran's capital for an oil company in 2011 when plainclothes police officers arrested him at his home. He wasn't charged until a year later, and after 2 years in prison, he was finally brought to court and sentenced to 8 years in prison for espionage, spying. He has dual British and Iranian citizenship, but Iran does not recognise that status and regards him as an Iranian citizenship in full. Therefore, the British Foreign Office are having real problems getting access to him to provide the assistance that he needs. And on top of all this, as you mentioned, he's 76 years old. His health is deteriorating, and his family says he needs specialised care, which he's not currently receiving, despite being promised a full medical checkup by the Iranian authorities. He's been waiting 14 months for that to take place. His son Cameron and his family are desperate for him to get the medical care he needs. Play clip.
My daughters have grown up half their lives not seeing him, having seen him a lot when they were younger, and they keep asking when he's coming home. We don't have any answer to that question. We just want him to come home and just live the rest of his life in peace with us.
The family say they fear he may even die in prison before they get a chance to see him again.
Anything that the Foreign Office can do, the UK Foreign Office can do?
They say they sympathise.
Sorry,
apologise.
We're all a little bit croaky today. I don't know what's going on, but we in no way mean to be disrespectful to the story.
No,
we're still
of course
a bit
not.
throaty.
Unfortunately, they don't have the power to release him, though. They say they've been in regular contact with the family since 2013, when they were first made aware of the situation. A spokesperson from the Foreign Office says we're very concerned for his health and have raised this with the Iranian authorities on repeated occasions.
Okay, well, we're going to be speaking to members of the family a little bit later on. There's a cracking story in the papers today, Kels. Singing is the fast way to friendship.
Oh, no.
No. You don't need a group hug or a company away day.
No, I've just realised what's about to happen.
To bring you closer to colleagues, you just sing together. In fact, not only does singing break the ice, it helps people to bond more quickly than other activities. Now, you know, it's automatic when I talk with old friends. The conversation turns to girls we knew when their hair was soft and long, and the beach was the place to go. Yeah, now with suntan bodies and waves of sunshine and California girls and a beautiful coastline with warmed up weather, let's get together and do it again. Come and do it, ba 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 ba.
Are they the actual words?
Dum-be-do, run, biddle bit high. I don't know this bit, hang on. With a girl, the lonely sea looks good. Moonlight makes your night times warm and out of sight. Been so did, been so did. Been so hard. Hey now, you try singing 5 parts in one. Hey now, hey, come and do it again. Here we go. Well, I've been thinking about all the places we surfed and danced and all the faces we miss, so let's get back together and do it again. You missed me, come and do it, ba 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 ba. Join in, Danny, ba ba. You're on the wrong mic, ba 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 ba. Come on, Kelly. Now, putting into practice the research here, we should be closer friends.
Well, I gave you full-on eye contact throughout all of that.
Yep.
You looked away quite a lot.
I was playing to the whole crowd. It wasn't just you.
Right,
big crowd here tonight
okay.
at the Anaheim Stadium. 76,000. It's a capacity. It's a record for Anaheim.
It's squashed.
Are we closer?
No, I think I like you less.
Ouch.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Right, okay, I see what's happened here. Danny's muffed it up. Where's the Trav, Dan?
There's no travel there.
What the hell is going on?
I'll give him a ring.
Well, I wouldn't bother.
Okay.
Do
you want me to?
No, I'll tell you
Okay.
what. I'll just like a professional. I'll make sure nobody knows what the hell just happened. 6:15. Wednesday, Kelly Betts' last Wednesday. It's the 28th of October. She'll never again, unless we get a story that involves it, but hear me say the word February. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. David Cameron will today challenge claims by campaigners who want Britain to leave the European Union and adopt a looser relationship modelled on Norway's. Kamran Farougi from Hertsmere is calling on Iran to release his father from jail. And 2 senior police officers have said the Bobby on the beat is no more.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties.
This is now. What the hell just happened there, Bets?
Don't know, actually. Do you want me to sort it out?
That's a crazy running order I've got there. It doesn't matter. We'll sort it out. What we're going to do. Whose running order is that?
Yeah, no, that is yours, but it's.
See what we're going to do. Don't worry.
incorrect.
Don't panic, Mr. Mannering. Don't panic, Mr. Mannering. 03459 455 555.
This is Iain Lee.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
Lisa likes brandy and the way it hits her lips. She's a rock and roll survivor with pendulum hips. She's got deep brown eyes that have seen it all. Working at a nightclub that was called The Avenue. The barman used to call her Little Lisa Looney Tune. She went down on almost anyone. But from the hard time living till the Chelsea days, from when her hair was sweet blonde till the day it turned grey, she said Lifegoeson. You got more than money and sense, my friend. You got heart and you go in your own way. Lifegoeson. What you don't have now will come back again. You got heart and you go in your own way. Some people wear the history like a map on their face, and Joey was an artist just living out a case, but his best work was his letters home. Extended works of fiction about imaginary success, when chorus girls and neon were his closest thing to friends. But to a writer, the truth is no big deal. And from the hard time living to the sleepless nights, and the black and blue body from the weekend fights, you'd say Lifegoeson. Got more than money and sense, my friend. You got heart and you go in your own way. Lifegoeson. What you don't have now will come back again. You got heart and you go in your own way. On my last night on earth, I won't look to the sky. Just breathe in the air and blink in the light. On my last night on earth, I pay a high price to have no regrets and be done with my life. Lifegoeson. Got more than money and sense, my friend. You got heart and you go in your own way. Lifegoeson. What you don't have now will come back again. You got heart and you go in your own way. Lifegoeson. Got more than money and sense, my friend. You got heart and you go in your own way. Lifegoeson. What you don't have now will come back again. You got heart and you go in your own way.
back from the dead and taking it to the streets of beds, hards and bugs. Justin Dealey.
Let's never forget you died for our sins, Just.
I did. I died for about, 30 minutes or so. Then suddenly the injection, back into life.
It's great to have you back. And
Thank you.
I just see the front page of the Daily Mirror. A friend of mine, Bob Mortimer's just had a triple heart bypass. I say friend, not particularly close friend, but we've worked together a few times and we text each other from time to time. I love Bob. He's brilliant. And I hope he's all right. Maybe I'll put you two in touch. You can tell him what it's like to come back.
Go out for a beer and talk about, dead times.
Now, listen, we're going to send you out on the street singing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Did you hear me singing to Kelly?
Yeah, do it again. Beach Boys. I
don't think I could do it again. I think once was enough.
Well, I quite enjoyed it, actually. Now, personally, if you said to me, OK, you got the choice to play the Beach Boys or the Iain Lee version, I might go for yours. Only because, I've heard the Beach Boys version a million times. Yours was something a little bit new and fresh.
I would say it was slicker.
It was different.
Thank you.
That's all right.
Thank you very much indeed. And then people sending in snidey texts, and Danny came in and just pointed at me and went, right, the Beach Boys, there were 5 of them, right? You tried doing 5-part harmonies when you're a 1-part kind of guy. Do you know what I mean?
It's special.
Very, very special. Now, on to more serious things. Posters with the words Milton Keynes says no to child abuse have gone up in the town, on buildings and on the back of buses. The idea is to raise awareness and encourage people who may be worried about a child to come forward. The council said child abuse is no more of a problem than anywhere else in the country. Justin Dealey's got more on this. Who's come up with this?
Well, the campaign Milton Keynes says no to child abuse, which does seem a little bit weird because, you're hardly going to say yes, are you?
Well.
Has been created in partnership with the Milton Keynes Safeguarding Children Board. And it aims to tackle these 4 key areas: physical punishment, neglect, child sexual exploitation and female genital mutilation. Now, according to the council, this is part of a larger piece of work which is being overseen by the MK Safeguarding Children Board, being undertaken by a number of agencies, which include the MK Clinical Commissioning Group and also Thames Valley Police. Now, as well as being put on the back of buses and buildings, the posters have also been distributed to schools and the images are being placed on the council's Twitter and Facebook pages.
What's been the reaction?
Well, it's been a bit weird because, as I say, when you go back to that Milton Keynes says no to child abuse, it does seem a bit strange. Not everybody's been impressed by this. Frank Hovis on Twitter says in response to this, like we were saying, was yes a possibility then? Question mark, this is pointless.
Who's Frank Hovis? Is
he's just somebody on Twitter.
Just a punter.
He's somebody who's local in Milton Keynes,
Okay.
who once had a go at me, actually, for my comments about the Milton Keynes dance. That's a different issue for today.
Okay, all right.
But Gabrielle Shaw, the chief exec of the National Association for People Abused in Childhood, says what is really needed is more support for abuse victims. But if this does start to get people talking, then it is a good thing. We will be speaking to her, or you will, later in the programme.
Gabrielle speaks common sense, I think, so I look forward to speaking to her. The people behind this, what have they got to say?
Yeah, Jane Held, who's the independent chair of the town's Safeguarding Children Board, said, preventing child abuse starts with you, me and everybody else reading this and seeing our campaign material. They also say every child is important and we take safeguarding and promoting the welfare of children in Milton Keynes extremely seriously. And Councillor Peter Marlin, who's the leader of Milton Keynes Council, he says that we are committed to protecting the health, well-being and lives of children in Milton Keynes, and we want to make it extremely clear that Milton Keynes will not tolerate any form of child abuse. He also says, I hope this campaign will encourage anybody who may be worried about a child to come forward with their concerns.
I hadn't seen the posters. I'm looking at the posters now. I think the phrase Milton Keynes says no to child abuse is a little bit...
I can see what they're doing.
It's a little bit, yeah. But the posters do have more than that. The poster... I'm looking at the one... OK, well, I can see 3 of them, and I've got a problem with one of them, actually, looking at it. Let's look at the physical punishment one. Physical punishment, Milton Keynes says no. This is tiny, hang on. Violence is never the answer. Deliberately hurting a child is illegal. If you're concerned about a child, then call this number. So it's got a number, and it's got an email address. So it's not a complete just Milton Keynes going, hey, we don't like this stuff. They are. I can see how this, you might be a child, or you might be a neighbour, or you might be a cousin or something, and you see this, you might be encouraged to call in. So I can kind of see that helps. I don't like the picture.
Yeah.
The picture of this is flipping horrible. It's a young girl in a tatty place. She's obviously in a lot of pain. She's lying on the floor, and then you can see a hand holding a belt. What a horrific image.
It's a horrible image, but I think, if you look at Peter Marlon there from Milton Keynes Council, the leader, he's got it right. Yes, we can talk about the language used, we can talk about the pictures, but he's hoping if somebody knows somebody who's doing something wrong, he's hoping that person will pick up the phone and say, look, I'm concerned about this child's well-being. Can you please look into it?
I think I'm supposed to be a bit snarky about this, and I don't think I can be. I think maybe the phrase Milton Keynes says no.
Yeah.
Well, okay,
no, but the campaign's trying to do good.
Yeah,
it's trying to do good
trying
for
to do
Milton
good,
Keynes.
and it's giving out phone numbers and emails, and I don't think you can knock that. Complete gear change. There it is, clunking.
Yep.
Songs that begin with a count-in. 1, 2, 3, 4. The obvious one.
The Beatles.
Well,
yeah.
I can think of two of the Beatles. Obviously, there's I Saw Her Standing There.
Yep, that's the one I can think of.
There's another. I'm going to play the other one in a second.
Okay.
It's got a really creepy. There's the creepy. Danny's got his hand up. Why?
I know one.
All right. There's a. All right, mate. I'm doing a radio show, buddy.
Yeah, but I've got the answer.
Shall we?
Go on then.
Go on.
Can I do mine first?
Go on, Kels. Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4. My baby don't mess
That's not
around.
the Beatles.
Doesn't have to be the Beatles.
Oh,
Can be
mine's
anybody.
the Beatles.
Okay, well that's good. So
Thank
who's
you,
that?
Blair.
Snoop Dogg.
Outcast.
And yours is.
I was going to go for your blues.
Does they count in on your blues?
Yeah. You go 1, 2.
All right, mate.
Woolly Bully? Did I have one?
I don't know.
Yes.
There's a do the count-in. Let me.
No, it wasn't. I
don't think Woolly Bully does. There's a Monkey song. You told me the first song, track one of Headquarters. They count in. They spent ages counting in because those guys are crazy. We could do that. 03459.
Okay.
This is the other Beatles one I was thinking of. Have some of this. Oh, hang on a minute. That's the wrong one. Hang on a minute.
Woolly Bully, I'm sure, does have. I think it has numbers, but in a different language at the start.
Oh, no,
yeah.
We can have different languages.
I'm going to mess with the system.
Hang on a minute. No, I've got. Oh, where's my blooming revolver? Because I want to shoot everybody. No, I don't. This is the one I was thinking of.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2.
Let me tell you how it will be. There's 1 for you, 19 for me. 'Cause I'm the tax man. Yeah, I'm the tax man. Should 5% appear too small? Be thankful I don't take it all. 'Cause I'm the tax man. Yeah, I'm the tax man. If you drive a car, I'll tax the street. If you try to sit, I'll tax your seat. If you get too cold, I'll tax the heat. If you take a walk, I'll tax your feet. Tax I'm the tax man. Yeah, I'm the tax man. Don't ask me what I want it for. Mr. Wilson. If you don't want to pay some more. Mr. Heath. 'Cause I'm the tax man. Yeah, I'm the tax man. Now my advice for those who die, tax man, declare the pennies on your eyes, tax man, 'cause I'm the tax man, yeah, I'm the tax man, and you're working for no one but me.
There we go, guys. Singing brings you closer. Songs with count-ins. We'll come up with other bits and pieces. Don't worry. Now, fingers crossed this will work. Aha.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
And 25 for Enfield. That's because the vehicle's broken down. And on the A1, it's very slow southbound from the Holiday Inn towards the Stirling Corner as well. On the southbound M1, it's busy around Junction 10 for Luton Airport Spur Road, heading towards Junction 9 for Redbourne. On the speed sensors, it's also looking quite poor visibility because of the rain as well. In Ampthill on the A507, the bypass is closed in both directions between Station Road and Froghall Road for roadworks, so that could cause some delays around it. And on the trains, East Midlands trains have no service between Kettering and Leicester because of overrunning engineering works. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Sammy.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30, I'm John Kay. Cancer Research UK says almost 20,000 cases of the disease could be diagnosed earlier if all regions match the performance of the best. Kamran Farougi from Hertsmere has called upon the Iranian authorities to release his 76-year-old father from jail as he's unwell. Survivors from the whale-watching boat that capsized off the west coast of Canada say most of those on board were on one side of the top deck when a wave hit the other side, turning the vessel over. 5 British nationals were killed and an Australian man is missing. The weather, it's raining this morning, but it should be drier this afternoon.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Chelsea are out of the League Cup after being beaten 5-4 on penalties by Stoke at the Britannia Stadium. Last year's Footballer of the Year, Eden Hazard, who hasn't scored all season, missed the crucial spot kick. Chelsea manager Jose Mourinho says his players couldn't have done any more to win the match.
I am obviously sad. The result is not the result we want, but I have no reason for not to be positive. I don't have a reason for not to be proud with myself and with the players. If some people likes to say that the players are not with me, watch this game and you know that they are with me or they are not with me.
Arsenal are out of the League Cup, beaten 3-0 by Championship side Sheffield Wednesday. The defeat could prove even more costly to manager Arsene Wenger, who saw both Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Theo Walcott go off early with injuries.
Both of them are muscular injuries, so you need to wait 48 hours in the scan to see how big the damage is, but they're of course out for the next game. When you lose 2 players like that, you look at your bench and you think, do I bring another experienced player on and risk to lose another one?
Championship Hull are also through after beating Premier League Leicester in a shootout, while Everton also needed penalties to beat Norwich. Tonight, Liverpool host Bournemouth with manager Jurgen Klopp still looking for his first win. Daniel Sturridge again misses out with injury. Manchester City take on Crystal Palace, Southampton play managerless Aston Villa, and Manchester United are at home to Middlesbrough. Great Britain's women have won a first-team medal at the World Gymnastic Championships after claiming bronze in Glasgow. Ellie Downey was left particularly pleased with her vault performance after an error on the bars.
I had that mistake and I just knew after qualifications I had a mistake and I let it all go away really, so I knew I had to pull myself together and try and do the best I can for the team, and I'm in absolute shock, I can't believe it.
At the IPC Athletics World Championship, Britain's Jo Butterfield claimed a second medal. In Doha, having already won gold in the club throw, she took bronze in the T51-52 discus final. This afternoon, Paralympics champion Richard Whitehead, Hannah Cockcroft and Alla Davis also go for gold. That's Three Counties News and Sport, and I'll have more for you at 7.
Mellow as the month of
tame. I just got to have you, baby. Yeah. I feel the earth move under my feet. I feel the sky tumbling down, tumbling down. I feel the earth move under my feet. I feel the sky tumbling down, tumbling down. I just lose control down to my very soul. I get a hot and cold all over, all over, all over, all over. I feel the earth move under my feet. I feel the sky tumbling down, tumbling down. I feel the earth move under my feet. I feel the sky tumbling down, tumbling down, tumbling down, tumbling down, tumbling down, tumbling down.
I will. Oh God, that voice! I mean, just what she could do to me. I've never ever got Jimi Hendrix. I don't understand Hendrix. I think he's awful. I think he's rubbish. Let me play a little bit of Hendrix to. This is quite a good one, but I just don't get it. Right? I think he's rubbish. Oh, Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix. Oh, Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix. Here's a fact. Pop fans. All right, Danny Warbucks.
Yep.
And I know that you're down to the final 3 to take Kelly's job.
Yep, it's
and
a
I
fight
know,
to the death.
Yeah, I know it's between you and other people whose nicknames I shouldn't probably mention on the air. So, let's see how good you are, shall we, Sunshine? Spotlight zooms in on Danny Glover. What's your name? Okay,
Danny.
whatever, doesn't
Just
matter.
Danny's fine.
Spotlight zooms in on him.
Yep.
Hones in, it's just you. You're in a darkened room and it's just you. And the question is put to you. And this question is important as to your future, as to whether you're the new Kelly or you're the old Danny who? Danny who? So, 1967, Jimi Hendrix. He's the opening act for a group touring around the United States of America. He's the opening act. But who was Jimi Hendrix the opening act for?
Where were they from? Can you give me that? Bob, no. No. What's the... I'm just going to have to name someone. It might not be right. Okay.
1967, Jimi Hendrix was the opening act for one of the biggest groups at the time. But what was the name of that group?
Was it the Kinks?
I'll give you a clue.
Yeah.
Oh, no, because I've got the fader down. Hang on a second. I'll give you a clue. He was the opening act for one of the biggest groups of the time. Here's your clue. Danny, this is your.
Come on, one more time.
Okay, I'll give you a clue.
It doesn't help. I don't know that.
Well, should we go to the break? This is what. This is
Okay,
why it's
this
not
is
such
what
an
I need
easy
to
job.
learn, yeah.
Kelly, 1967. Jimi Hendrix was the opening act for which group?
The Monkees.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I was actually going to say that. What did you would? No, because I thought it's you. So.
Weren't they furious at how great he was?
No. They were. Hendrix was furious that everyone was going, "We want Davey! We want Davey!" So the Monkees asked him to open for them. They saw him at a tiny club. So there's, they're playing to 11-year-old girls who are screaming, "We want Davey!" and he's going, "Fuck's air!" and using his guitar as, let's be honest, a penis extension. 12 dates into it, they're screaming, "We want Davey." He stops Foxy Lady, he flips them the bird and chucks his guitar on the stage and walks away. So we'll do it again, Danny.
Okay.
Right? Okay, we'll do it again. Because I like you.
Okay.
I like you. I want you to do well in life, son.
That's
all right?
good.
At the moment, you're in a fast track to Nothingsville. You're on a slow train to Loserville,
Yeah.
USA. And I want you to get off that train and get to Success City. So we'll try it again. 1967, Jimi Hendrix was the opening act for which group? And I'm going to give you a clue.
No, sorry.
Unbelievable.
Siamo noi e la gente ci guarda ed amico un po'. Ci chiamano i monkeys, siamo memorati di chi si crede più intelligente di noi che la pensiamo così. Comunque parliamo, non è giusto mai, c'è sempre qualcuno che ne sa più di noi. Ci chiamano i monkey, siamo memorati di chi si crede più intelligente di noi che la pensiamo così. Ci chiamano i monkeys, ci chiamano i monkeys.
Anyway.
Ci chiamano i monkeys.
Anyway.
Ci chiamano i monkeys.
Anyway.
Ci chiamano i monkeys.
Oh, shut up. So Hendrix's bobbins, right? And I'd never understood the fascination with Hendrix. I think he's absolutely awful, just terrible guitarmanship. He can't play a tune. It's all a bit wobbly and a bit, you know. I've got stuff on all of my my faders. Am I meant to have stuff on all of my faders? It doesn't. My screen doesn't normally look like that. Is what I'm trying to say. Thank you. So there's always this obsession with Hendrix. I went to school with a kid who later beat me up, not because of Hendrix. Sorry?
Nothing.
No, he did. He decked me. Hendrix's bedroom will open to the public. Crying out loud. Is that right? Did he die in his bedroom?
No. No, he didn't die in his room.
Well,
He
where did he die?
In his house.
Where was he?
Someone else's house.
You seem to know lots about
I
it. Have
do.
the police questioned you?
I love Jimi Hendrix.
Why did Dennis?
Yes.
Do you love Hendrix?
No.
He was rubbish, wasn't he?
He was, yes.
Jimi Hendrix
Tell you
is...
what, that young fella,
What?
I bet he looked daft in a skirt.
Sorry?
Replacing our Kelly.
Mate, listen, you're an old man. He's a young lad, OK? I know we're the BBC, but we can't encourage our young male members of staff to dress in skirt and act sexy for yourself.
Well, very good, very good. But,
very good indeed. Very good indeed. So,
Kelly doesn't wear skirts. She wears trousers.
Jimi Hendrix's... She wore a dress yesterday.
What?
Jimi Hendrix's London home is set to be opened to the public.
Oh, I've been there.
So have I. He shared... Have I got this right? Didn't he share a home with Mozart?
At the same time?
No.
Separated by about 150 years.
Yeah.
But it was... Did Mozart
No,
live
it's
there?
not Mozart. Is it George?
Beethoven.
George, the 1982 guy.
The what? the
Well,
1982
yeah,
guy?
the Big Brother guy. No.
George Orwell.
Yes, that's him.
No. It was a classical composer. He either shared the flat or he had the flat next door to like.
Who you're talking about was above him.
Sorry, musically, yes.
No,
we're talking about
Jimmy's
they had the
flat
same
was
flat.
like the middle floor, and above him was the composer. You mean?
Beethoven?
I can't remember. Oh, who was it? I've been there. I saw.
Well, you're still
things.
there. Right. The top. I would rather. No. So who was? You're saying that the You're saying that the guy was above him. Incorrect data. The top floor of the legendary US guitarist's flat will open in February. There you go, you got a free one.
Yeah, but that wasn't it. That's not where he lived. He didn't live on the top
I
floor.
went and saw a show in there starring Alistair McGowan, the hook-nosed impressionist, where he imagined what it would have been like if Beethoven and Hendrix... They were in the same flat. It was the same flat. Otherwise, the McGowan play was based on a flawed premise, because he imagined what it would have been like if they both. Oh God, I'm even boring myself. Turns out we were all wrong. It was, of course, the great composer, Irene Handel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the N25, a lane to close clockwise between junction 24 for Potters Bar and 25 for Enfield. That's because a van's broken down, so it's causing it to be very busy. And on the M1, it's slow southbound from junction 10 for Luton Airport to 9 for Redbourne. It's also busy now on the A1M southbound between junction 8 for Hitchin and 7 for Stevenage. In Walthamstow on the North Circular Road, there are delays westbound because of an accident which has closed the road at the Crooked Billet Underpass. That's causing a delay from the Waterworks corner. And also in St Albans on the North Orbital Road, there are roadworks for each way between the Park Street roundabout and the London Coney roundabout. There's a lane closed in each direction, so expect some delays there. It's not looking too bad yet though. On the train departure boards, there are no reported problems at the moment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. Where are we now? 6:46. It's Kelly Betts' last 6:46 news on a Wednesday. These are your headlines. Cancer Research UK says almost 20,000 cases of the disease could be diagnosed earlier if all regions match the performance of the best. Survivors from the whale-watching boat that capsized off the west coast of Canada say most of those on board were on one side of the top deck when a wave hit the other side, turning the vessel over. And Kamran Farougi from Hertsmere has called upon the Iranian authorities to release his 76-year-old dad from jail as he's unwell. Let's get the weather.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello there. The Met Office have a yellow warning in place until 11 o'clock just for Hertfordshire, but we've got some pretty heavy rain everywhere. So do watch out for surface water flooding if you're driving. Now that rain gradually pulls off to the north, taking with it most of the cloud. So it should have some sunny spells towards the end of the day with highs of 14 degrees. And a mainly dry night tonight. Clear at first, but after midnight cloud starts to build from the west with lows of 9 degrees. And then tomorrow, after a dry, bright start, we've got another band of rain sweeping eastwards. Now, it's fairly fragmented, quite drizzly, and surrounded by some gusty winds, but by the time it gets to us, it's actually sticking. It's going to be quite stubborn. So we see that through the afternoon into the evening and the night. Tomorrow, temperatures up to about 14 degrees Celsius again. So overnight, that drizzle isn't really going anywhere, and then it's joined by a heavier area of rain, which we then see into Friday as well, clearing in the afternoon, leaving a couple of showers behind. It's looking drier and brighter over the weekend, slightly cloudier on Sunday, but staying mild with some mist and fog at night and in the mornings. That's your latest forecast.
Cheers, my dears. Steve's called in. Steve, what's your problem?
It's not a problem, really. Just thought I'd let you know, what is the point, eh? What is the point?
What now? Let's see if we can hone this down. It's a question philosophizers have been asking for many, many years. Now, do you mean specifically this show? That last conversation that was really, going nowhere, or life in general?
Neither of the above.
Steve, you've blown my mind.
Yep. What is the point in me bothering listening anymore when Kelly pops her clogs?
Well, now, and I have to clarify, Steve, for, and we are considering opening up a hotline for, like, when Take That split up. Kelly is not technically dying. She's going on to another job at BBC Coventry and Warwickshire where she's in charge of catering. But she will be, Steve, she will be dead to me. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so hence my point. What is the point? There isn't, is there?
There isn't,
no
mate. We have decided that next week we're not going to do any breakfast shows. Between 6 and 9, there is going to be, as a mark of respect, there will be silence between those 3 hours. Then the week after, just like the Beach Boys came out the day after the drummer Dennis Wilson died and said, well, we're going to carry on with the tour that we've got booked. It's what he would have wanted. We're going to carry on with the shows I'm contractually obliged to do, Steve. It's what she would have wanted.
I think you're right. I think it's a fantastic idea.
Thank you very much indeed.
Do me a favour, just keep me near. Don't you remember when you said what I wanted to hear? I'm not so clever, but I know it's real. If I lived without you, I don't know if I'd ever heal. Where are we now? You've got me thinking. Where are we now? do better. I've tried to be clear. I can be your friend, but that's not what you want to hear. I'm not your answer. In time you'll see. You have a future where you won't need to love me. I'm leaving now. Gotta keep moving. I'm leaving now. We're falling further from our love. Don't you wait. Don't you wait. From my distance, we stop trying. Don't you wait. Don't you wait. I could have stayed there, but it wouldn't be fair to. I could have faked it, but I couldn't see it through. We didn't make it. It's better to start new. Falling further from our love. Don't you wait. Don't you wait. From my distance, we start trying. Don't you wait. Don't you.
She sing funny, this lady, isn't it? Oh, you're why. Just at the very edge, but I still make it sound pretty powerful. Who's that? That's not even a BBC introducing track.
No.
Wowzers.
She's from Australia.
From Australia? Well, they've got lower standards in their music over there.
Did you not like that?
I quite liked it, but she sang like she was from Sweden.
I thought you'd like her voice.
Now, the Lonely Planet do this from time to time. They come out with complete and utter balls. Manchester, let's get some appropriate Manchester music. One of Manchester's finest, the Kinks. Manchester has been named one of the top 10 cities in the world to visit next year by travel guide Lonely Planet. Now, what are you doing?
I'm just playing the maracas or whatever this is.
Put your maracas away. I'm not
Sorry.
interested, love. I'm a married man. I'm almost thrice your age. Lonely Planet do this so that idiots like me mention Lonely Planet, right? Because they don't genuinely think that that Manchester's one of the top 10 cities in the world. I've been to Manchester. It's all right. But have you been... all right, I'll compile a top 10 list that's better than Manchester straight away. Tokyo, New York, Athens... I'll have another Japanese one if you don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind. Kyoto.
Wait, is this... is it English cities, though? Because...
Japan's not in
no,
England.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
No, these are from around the world.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Carry on.
Top 10, this is like top 10 cities in the world.
In the world.
Kelly.
Okay,
Going to
carry
miss
on.
your stupidity, although it looks like what's his face might be well up there. So that's 4, and I could probably do another 6 if you gave me an hour or two and some thinking
All
time.
right, got till 9.
They put Manchester in the top 10. Manchester, Justin, in the top 10. They do this. Now, I don't know if it was Lonely Planet or if it was another one of these stupid things, right? I used to work in Birmingham. I like Birmingham. Birmingham gets a hard rap, actually. It's a nice city, and everyone there was absolutely delightful to me. But some place, and it may have been Lonely Planet, said that they listed the top 10 sculptures in the world, right? And what on the top 10 like things you should like tourist attractions, right? So they could have the Eiffel Tower, you could have Big Ben, all of this stuff, right? About number 4 was the Bronze Bull outside the Bullring Shopping Centre as one of the top 10 attractions in the world.
Wow.
Utter balls. And they do it so that we mention their names on it. Well, I'm mentioning your name, Lonely Planet. I'm saying you're stupid and unreliable.
Well, you know, if you take Coronation Street out of Manchester, it doesn't exist to me.
There's nothing to do there. Have you done the Corrie tour yet?
No, I haven't,
Do
no.
it. Here's the top 10. Top 10 backwards. Rome. 9 is Nashville. 8 is... Rome? Rome is 2 places lower than Manchester. You take it. Number 7 is Fremantle. 6 is Mumbai. 5 is Mumbai's a dump. 5 is Rotterdam. 4 is Georgetown. 3 is Dublin. I didn't even know what these. Number 1 is Kotor. What the hell is Kotor? Makes me want to puke. Makes me want to puke, Justin.
Yeah, I know.
Listen, singing.
Yeah.
We've heard on the show it brings people closer together. It makes friends.
Yep.
It's a great way of making friends. Well, I asked you to go to the streets, Justin, and make friends. Have you done that?
Yeah, I have done that. Can you hear the rain?
Oh, beautiful,
Absolutely
beautiful.
chucking down. So to go on the streets this morning and ask people to sing was a tough call.
It takes either a brave man or someone who has a contract.
Yeah.
One of those two, and I don't know which one you are.
It was the latter. So I've been on the streets this morning, and you'll love this. Here's what happened. Mark, I'm led to believe your favourite tune is Rapper's Delight.
That would be correct, sir.
Right, OK. Come on, just give me 10 seconds.
I said a hip, a hop, a hip, a do the hip, hip, hoppity, don't stop rocking to the band, baby boogie. Said up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie the beat. Now what you hear is not a test, I'm rapping to the beat. And me, the crew, and my friend, I'm going to try to move my feet. It's 6:30 in the morning, I've got to get going.
You, my friend, are a legend. Thank you so much. I presume you got lots of friends?
I've got quite a few around, yeah.
Because you can sing, that's why I'm rap.
I know the words, but the tune's not that great.
No, you're a legend. Thanks very much. What's your favourite song?
Don't You Worry Child by Swedish House Mafia.
All right, OK, go on, 10 seconds.
Don't you worry, child. Heaven's got a plan for you.
Now, this report says if you sing, it's an easy way to make friends. You obviously can sing a little bit. I presume you got lots of friends?
Until I sing and then I lose them all. They all run away quickly.
Hey, Javid, that's the wonder of...
Oh, you...
OK, mate. Thanks very much, yeah?
Thank you, OK.
Here's the thing, Justin. I know we have a lot of Asian listeners to this show, right? 03459 45555. I grew up in Slough, so we had loads of... it was primarily Indian kids, quite a few Pakistani kids, a few Bangladeshi kids. And Elvis Presley, right, is massive in Asian families. Whenever I would go around to my Indian mate's house for tea, right, there was a picture... of I think we've lost. Has Dealey disappeared? Is he gone? Oh, he's there. Sorry, you're on the right one. Yeah. I go around to my Indian mate's house for tea. They'd always have a picture of Elvis up on the wall.
I know, it's incredible, isn't it? I mean, are you thinking the Asian megamix?
I don't know if I am thinking that. Are you thinking it?
I'm thinking it.
I'm thinking it with trepidation, partly because I don't know what it means.
That means we go onto the streets and we have lots of people singing Elvis Presley songs.
I'm thinking no.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25, there are delays clockwise because the lane's been closed between junction 24 for Potters Bar and 25 for Enfield. On the M1, it's slow southbound just after junction 12 for Flitwick. And on the A1M, it's very busy going southbound between junction 8 for Hitchin and 7 for Stevenage. In High Wycombe on the A404, it's quiet at the moment, but there's roadworks at Dawes Hill Lane, so that could cause some delays later on when it starts to get busier. And on the train departure boards, there's no major delays at the moment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you very much. And it's always one of those things that's really... It's genuine, absolutely genuine. You go around to the Indian kids' houses, and they'd have a picture of Elvis up. And I asked my mate, Ajit once. I said, Ajit, why have you got the picture? He said, oh, it's because my mum thinks he was a bit Indian. Is there any truth in that? We'll take your calls on it after this. Here's the news.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock, I'm John Kay. The headlines: thousands of cancer cases could be diagnosed earlier. The whaleboat tragedy in Canada, why it capsized. And a Hertfordshire man calls on Iran to release his father.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A leading cancer charity says thousands of cases of the disease could be diagnosed at an earlier stage. Cancer Research UK has analysed 2 years of data and says there's an unacceptable variation in the speed of diagnosis between different parts of the country. Here's Jane Draper.
Many cancers in England are being diagnosed earlier, even with an overall rise in cases. But after looking at this new data covering 2 years, Cancer Research UK believes there's still room for improvement in many areas. The charity says if all regions had the same rate of early diagnosis as Bath, Gloucestershire, Swindon and Wiltshire, almost 20,000 cancer cases would be found sooner. NHS England says it's working with doctors towards giving all patients cancer test results within 4 weeks by 2020.
Canadian investigators say a whale-watching boat that capsized, killing 5 people from Britain, may have become unstable because the passengers had crowded onto one side of the deck. The vessel overturned off Vancouver Island on Sunday. James Cook sent this report.
Surviving passengers and crew members have told investigators that most of those on board the Leviathan 2 were on one side of the top deck when a wave hit the other side, rolling the boat over. Canada's Transportation Safety Board says one life raft was activated and at least 2 hand flares and a parachute rocket were fired. The operators of the boat say there was no time to issue a Mayday distress call. 5 Britons drowned, and divers who've been searching for an Australian man say his family saw him sinking below the waves, apparently unconscious.
A Hertfordshire man's calling for his 76-year-old father, who's unwell, to be released from an Iranian prison on compassionate grounds. Kamal Farougi, who holds dual British and Iranian citizenship, has served more than half of an 8-year sentence for espionage. His son Kamran from Hertsmere says his family are desperate to see him.
My daughters have grown up half their lives not seeing him, having seen him a lot when they were younger, and they keep asking when he's coming home. We don't have any answer to that question.
2 of Britain's most senior police officers have said there'll be significant changes in the way forces operate because of budget cuts expected next month. The head of the National Police Chiefs Council, Sarah Thornton, suggested that the era of routine patrols by bobbies on the beat was coming to an end. And the Deputy Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police, Craig McKee, said that banks and other big businesses could help to pay for investigations, particularly into cybercrime.
I think we'll have to look at completely different models. There's been a lot of talk as we start to step into this world. Why could we not work with industry to fund some of the work we do? And they can help in paying for that. Now, there are all sorts of ethical challenges and hurdles along the way. But one of the things a challenge of this size and scale does is force you to think differently.
The weather for Beds, Herts and Bucks, a cloudy morning ahead with heavy rain. Sunny spells expected this afternoon. The top temperature 14 Celsius, 57 Fahrenheit. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Morning, guys. Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. It's wet and miserable out, and let's be honest, it's wet and miserable in as well, isn't it, guys? I'm supposed to be having fireworks in my garden tonight. I spent a whole £56 on fireworks. That's going to buy me 2.5 minutes of disappointment. I've never bought fireworks before. I've never bought fireworks before, right? And I was in Tesco buying them, and you had to go up. There was like a stand, and there was no. So I had to go up to the customer services, and I said, "Was there a grown-up that can help me and sell me fireworks?" And this boy, who was about 23, went, "Yeah, I can do it." And then and I was genuinely had a thrill as I was buying these fireworks. I felt very naughty. I was the generation that was brought up on the advert of that girl with a big bandaged hand because she picked up a sparkler the wrong way round. Idiot. And this guy was getting this, but what fireworks do you want? I said, oh, God, blimey. My mum's going to tell me off if she finds out I'm doing this. What do you mean? It's because I feel a bit... What fireworks do you want, please? I've got to go. It was a very uncomfortable moment. And now it's peeing it down, so I'm not going to be able to set them off. Songs with count-ins, and just why do Asian people love Elvis Presley so much?
Across Beds, Herts and Bucks.
No, I'm not.
This is BBC Three Counties
Honestly,
Radio.
It was a weird thing. I would say about 75% of the kids, the Indian kids, when I went to their homes after school for supper, they'd have pictures of Elvis, but the mum and dad would have it in the living room. And I don't know why. 0345. I'm being slightly flippant, but 03459 455 555. Can anybody? Where is Akbar Dad Khan when you need him? Yeah, that's all right. I just went to the roof of BBC Three Counties Radio, and I flicked a switch, and I put the illuminated ADK logo flying in the sky. And don't you worry, he's going to call now. He calls every day, but he's going to call now. We're going to speak to Akbar Dad Khan and get the insight. Is that right, Kels? Thank you very much indeed. You right, Dan?
Yeah.
Good lad. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Now, posters with the words Milton Keynes says no to child abuse have gone up in the town on buildings and in the back of buses. The idea is to raise awareness and encourage people who may be worried about a child to come forward. The council said child abuse is no more of a problem than anywhere else in the country. Some people on Twitter have got a bit snarky about it and said, well, what, is Milton Keynes going to say yes to child abuse? What town says yes to child abuse? And I think that was what I was supposed to be doing. But I've seen the posters, and I can't really get snarky about it. Gabrielle Shaw is the chief exec of NAPAC, the National Association for People Abusing Childhood. Gabrielle, it's always, well, I say pleasure to talk to you. We talk about, pretty grim stuff, but it's always nice to get your valued input. Have you seen these posters?
Good morning. Yes, I have. And I'm quite impressed, actually. I think they're really good.
Tell me why. Go on.
Because they're not, first thing to say, they're not a silver bullet. Posters by themselves are not going to save anything or cure the whole issue. But what it does do is to raise awareness. And that's always a bit of a hackneyed phrase, isn't it? Raise awareness. What does that mean? It means that if someone sees it and it sparks something in them, if it starts a conversation between two people, if someone thinks, oh, hang on, there is something wrong. I did see something like that the other day. Then if they follow that step, if they start to notice, if they take the appropriate steps to report to the authorities, then that's achieved its aim. So, yeah, I'm very impressed and think it's a good thing to do.
I think I've been given this story, Gabrielle, because sometimes people think I have a tone and that I'm supposed to go, well, Milton Keynes says no, or was it going to say yes? But I've looked at the posters and I've got a slight issue with one, which I'll get to in a minute. But it's not just a poster saying, hey, we don't like child abuse. It's then it goes into, it's got like a little line kind of just very lightly explaining what that might be. And then it's got a phone number and it's got an email address. Now, that can only be a good thing, can't it?
Oh, absolutely. And I can see the point. If it had just been Milton Keynes says no, and that's it, well, then I too would be going, well, what's the point to that? But this is leading to action. It's actually giving people the information they need, because if there are concerns, because they're worried about children in various situations as opposed to describe, there's actually a concrete step to go down and follow. And surely that can only be a good thing.
I tell you the one I don't like, and it just makes me a little bit uncomfortable. I suppose it's meant to, but I don't know if you've seen the one. There's one about female genital mutilation. There's neglect, and there's the physical punishment one. Yeah, where it's a picture of a young girl. I make up she's about 11, and she's in a grotty flat, and she's kind of on the floor, and she's covering her face, and she's obviously in pain. And then you see a picture of a man's hand holding a belt. The implication is she's about to get thrashing. Part of me, and I don't know if it's I'm a dad or if it's I'm a wuss or what, that feels just a little bit graphic for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that is. I've seen all those posters, and I think that one it does grab you, doesn't it? Because of that, because it's so visceral. You see she's cowering away, and the man he's quite a beefy guy, isn't he? He's holding a belt. Yeah. It is graphic and it's shocking, but you know what? I think it's meant to be, and I think it's meant to be because by its very nature, violence, abuse happens in secret, it happens hidden away, and it is graphic and it is shocking to suffer. So I think if that does grab your attention, I think it is close to the bone. But then, so that's what physical violence is. I think for a lot of people who think that violence is the answer and that it's okay to hit a child, this rightly grabs your attention and challenges that view.
I'm just reading. I don't know who wrote these questions. The way this show works, Gabrielle, is I come in and there are a few kind of suggested questions, and I kind of use them as a springboard. And I've not for this conversation, but I'm looking at these questions that here, and I am supposed to have a tone about this. I think I am supposed to be a bit. This is a bit. Short. One of the questions is, aren't we all a bit abused out? Isn't this too much? I mean, that's crazy. And there's another question. I know. I don't know who wrote that. It's incredible. There is another question, and I'm kind of going to answer it myself. It says here, you would hope that anyone who had concerns about a child would do something anyway, but I guess thinking about it, I wouldn't know necessarily where to go. I mean, I possibly would, because I get to speak to you a lot, and but having a phone number or an email, because anyone can set up an anonymous email account and fire off an email and say, hey, I think my cousin or my niece or the kid 2 doors down from us, and you can do it anonymously. That is a great way of being able to reach out, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. There's a book I was reading lately. It's called Switch: How to Change When Change is Hard. And one thing that sticks like up for me is something called smoothing the path, because sometimes it can be too big and huge. If you do have suspicions about your niece or your cousin or a friend, it's like, oh, I want to report, but I don't know how to do it, and it's all too difficult.
Yeah.
And but if you smooth the path, that is, if you take away some of the barriers to it, if you make it easy, if you here's an email address, here's a phone number, it is easy. Suddenly it becomes a whole lot less challenging, and like you say, you can just quickly fire off an email, and then your job is done. You've answered your concern.
Well,
but just a quick question there. All abused, quick response to all abused out. Yes, I know it's a bit of a thing, but I think I keep saying it like the voice of doom, but we've got to recognise the scale and the scope of it. It isn't like a little a crisis that's going to go away and back to normal. This is the new normal, and I think as a society, there are things we can do. As individuals, there are things that we can do, and these posters just demonstrate a really good way of doing that.
I think it's brilliant. As a person who, had experiences when I was a child, and as a dad of 2 young boys, I don't think we can talk about this stuff enough. And if there are phone numbers, if there are emails, we're talking about it on a breakfast show. Imagine 20 years ago, it wouldn't have been spoken about.
Great point. Exactly that. It's what we need to be doing.
Gabrielle, it's it would be really nice to talk to you about a fun thing one day. I don't know what that would be, but I really appreciate your insight. I respect your views on this stuff. So thank you very much.
It's always a pleasure. Thank
Gabrielle,
you.
thank you very much. Gabrielle Shaw, Chief Exec of NAPAC, 03459 455 555. Who wrote that question? Aren't we all a bit abused out? Isn't this too much? Who wrote that? Find out who wrote them and have them send them on a course or something. It's crazy. No, man. No. I know. The more I think about this campaign, this Milton Keynes campaign, it's a great idea. Let's have more of that, please. Mick's in High Wycombe. Morning, Mick.
Yeah, good morning. You were talking about your Asian friend having a picture of Elvis Presley.
Well, it wasn't just one of them. It was loads of the Asian kids. I mean, I grew up in Slough, and there's a massive Asian population there, and I would often go around for tea after school. Yeah. Loads of them did.
Now, what it is that people thought he was actually from Asian descent. That's a misconception. He's actually, on his mother's side, he's got a Cherokee grandparent, which is a Native American Indian.
So he's got Cherokee. Does that mean he can start his Cherokee? It's a joke, guys. It's a joke. There we go with the complaints.
Yeah, well, don't give up your day job.
No, well, yeah, unfortunately, this is the day job. Yeah, but is that... So, because this is what they had told me. You've heard this as well, that a lot of Asian families thought he was from Indian descent.
Well, yeah, because like I said, one of his maternal grandparents was a Native American, which used to be called Indian. Cherokee.
Oh, okay, yeah. The picture that I remember most, and I saw it in a couple of homes, was of Elvis in the movie. Was it Charro? Where he does play, he does play what we would have called as kids an Indian, and I'm saying that word because this is maybe where the confusion comes from. He was playing an Indian, but he was a Native American, a Native American.
Yeah. There's a couple of them, Charro, and I think one called Stay Away Joe.
Okay, and he blacks up a bit, doesn't he, in it?
Well,
like very, very lightly.
Yeah.
Are you a big fan of Elvis, Mick?
Uh-huh.
You're right, Mick.
Well, I like the guy.
Thank you very much. There we go, Mick. There. You see, I need an Indian family to confirm this, and I'm guessing I kind of need like an Indian mum or dad, sort of. I guess in their 60s. That's kind of the generation of parents when I was going around. It was great. You go around. You watch telly. My friend Ajit, he had cable TV before people had Sky. He had cable TV. We watched the DJ Cat Show and all of that stuff. It's a cat it's a D and a J and a cat with a K. That was it. And they'd have pictures of Elvis as Charro. And he does. I'm sure he blacks up a little bit. 03459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are delays on the M25 clockwise between junction 24 for Pottersbar and 25 for Enfield because the lane's been closed by a truck that's broken down. On the A1M southbound, it's very slow from junction 8 for Hitchin to 7 for Stevenage, and it's busy on the M1 southbound as well between junction 11 for Dunstable and 9 for Redbourne. Into London on the North Circular Road and eastbound through Walthamstow, there's been an accident at the Cricket Billet interchange, so there are long delays there all the way from the Kenning Hall interchange in Edmonton. And on the East Midlands trains in Northamptonshire, there's no service between Kettering and Leicester because of overrunning engineering works. But on the train departure boards into London, there's no reported problems at the moment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hey up, Sammy. Nice one, nice one. Thank you very much. Where are we now? 7:16. It's Tuesday, the 28th of October. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Cancer Research UK say thousands of cases of the disease could be diagnosed at an earlier stage. Kamran Foroughi from Hertsmere has called upon the Iranian authorities to release his 76-year-old father from jail as he's unwell. David Cameron will today challenge claims by campaigners who want Britain... I can't wait for you to leave, Kelly. I can't wait for you to leave.
Why?
Stop trying to make me laugh during the head...
No, I was
not.
not.
Oh, you were just sat there.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
I just sat here. That's not... Well, it is my fault, but I'm...
You won't be sat there for much longer.
I know.
Mark my words, mark my words.
Travel news for beds, cards.
We've got no. The person who does the jingles is. I'll tell you what. I'll come. Hang on a minute. I'll find a jingle. 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 Jingle.
Well, I'm not the kind to kiss and tell, but I've been seen with fire up. I've never been with anything less than a 9. So fine, I've been on fire with Sally Field, gone past with a girl named Bo, but somehow they just don't end up as mine. It's a death-defying life I lead. I take my chances. I die for living in the movies and TV. But the hardest thing I ever do is watch my leading ladies kiss some other guy while I'm bandaging my knee. I might fall from a tall building, I might roll a brand new car, 'cause I'm the unknown stuntman that made Redford such a star. I've never spent much time in school, but I taught ladies plenty. It's true, I hire my body out for pay. Hey, hey, I've gotten burned over Cheryl Teague's, blown up for Raquel Welch. But when I wind up in the hay, it's only hay. Hey, hey, I might jump an open drawbridge or Tarzan from a vine, 'cause I'm the unknown stuntman that makes Eastwood look so fine.
I keep pressing the button when there's nothing there, and that's boy oh boy. If only I had some brains, then maybe I could do that. Now, the Hertfordshire family of a 76-year-old man who's being held in an Iranian prison say they're worried about his health and are pleading for him to be released. Kamal Foroughi holds dual British and Iranian citizenship and is over 4 years into an 8-year sentence for spying, basically. Amnesty International have called for the Iranian authorities to ensure he receives the medical care that he requires. Well, Bahara Davis is the Iran researcher for Amnesty International and joins me now. Did I get your name right, Bahara?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you very much indeed. Now, tell me more about Kamal Foroughi. When was he arrested and what was the situation leading up to it? What do we know?
Well, Kamal Foroughi was arrested in May 2011, and the trial that resulted in the imprisonment sentence against him was unfair. There were various due process issues. When he was arrested, he was not shown an arrest warrant. He was not told why he was being arrested. He was then taken to Evin prison, where he spent periods of time in solitary confinement without access to a lawyer or his family members. He was not formally charged until a year after his arrest, and even then, he was not given information about his charges. he was only allowed to see a lawyer a day before trial in early 2011, which meant that he did not have sufficient time to prepare his defense. And there was also a period of time for several months after his sentencing when he was denied any contact with the outside world. Unfortunately, some of these concerning issues persist to date. Kamal Foulouri has very limited access to his lawyer. He's not allowed to write or receive letters from his family members who live in the UK, which restricts their communication possibilities. And he's not permitted to receive any British consular assistance. In fact, he's never been allowed consular assistance.
The Iranians don't recognise his dual citizenship, do they? They consider him not to be British and Iranian. They consider him to be purely Iranian.
That's correct. Iran does not recognize dual nationality. However, laws in relation to access to consular assistance for foreign nationals who do not hold Iranian nationality are also quite vague and effectively leave it at the discretion of judicial authorities to allow such access.
Bahara, what is he accused of doing? Espionage is a vague term. Can we be any more specific than that?
That is correct. Espionage is a vague term, and as mentioned, it does not seem that the authorities have given sufficient information to Kamal Foulouri about the basis of the charges that he's faced. It is also a problem in Iranian laws where generally provisions that relate to national security offences are overly broad and vague, and that effectively allows the authorities to interpret them as they wish to and consider a wide range of activities to be criminal. And now we are quite concerned about Kamal Foulouri's deteriorating health. We know that he has several medical conditions. We understand that due to his medical background, prior to his arrest, his doctors had recommended that he should have regular specialized medical tests and checkups, including screening for cancer. And we are concerned that he has not had access to this test. He has been transferred to a hospital several times but has not received the care he needed, apparently because specialists have not been available. Amnesty International has urged the Iranian authorities to ensure that Kamal Foulouri receives the specialized medical care he needs outside prison, and has also called on them to grant him conditional release on the basis of a provision in Iran's penal code, which would allow for his release as he has served more than one-third of his sentence.
Do we know, and you may not know the answer to this, but I kind of do have to ask it, is he guilty? Did he do it?
I do not. I think that it's not the key issue at the moment.
So his guilt is not the issue for Amnesty International. The issue is the treatment that he is receiving, whether he's guilty or not.
The issue is that we have serious fair trial concerns, and as I explained, he had no access to a lawyer. He had no access to his family members. He was not given information about the charges he faced, which meant that he had little information to use to defend himself. Yes, at the moment, the key concern is the fact that as elderly man in Iranian prison, where general conditions are quite poor, he's not receiving the medical care he needs.
Because I have to say, and I'm saying this simply because I know that other people, I will get texts saying this, if he were guilty, you break the law in a country that doesn't have particularly good prisons or human rights within those prisons. Tough. Some people might say, I'm not necessarily saying that's my opinion, Bahara, but do you understand? Some people might say, well, if he did break the law in Iran, well, he has to face those consequences. What would you say to those people?
International human rights standards, including those that relate to fair trials, are universal. And it does not matter what offence someone has committed. Regardless of the offence that they have committed, the authorities in all countries are bound by international law to ensure that everyone receives a fair trial, that everyone is protected against torture and other ill treatment, and that everyone who is detained or is in prison receives adequate medical care. So international law does not, say that because in this country that's the general situation, so individuals should not get into trouble. The obligation is on the authorities to ensure that they uphold the international obligations that they basically accepted.
Bahra, I've kind of been following this. I have a little awareness, but what are relationships like between the UK and Iran now? And have the British government made any moves towards helping Kamal?
We understand that the countries have resumed some relations recently with the opening of the embassies. And we have seen in the media that the British authorities have urged the Iranian authorities to ensure that Kamal Fourie is given the adequate medical care he needs and is treated well.
Okay. Really interesting talking to you. Thank you very much indeed, Bahra Davis, the Iran researcher for Amnesty International.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is a good one, guys.
BBC Three Counties
There's
Radio.
a good one. Must remember to do this. This is brilliant, right? The Daily Mail really is playing a blinder today. First of all, Andrew Pearce, who's got to be one of the snarkiest. I'm not going to say journalist because he just has really nasty pops at people. He had a pop at Corbyn the other day because he lives in a nice house. He's having a pop at some other people today because they live in a nice house. Where is he? He's talking about the Lords that voted against the tax credit changes. The ones that voted against it. So the ones that had, it could be argued, the ideals of the poorer people, working for the poorer people. And he's gone, this is Andrew Pearce. This is a roll call of the peers who helped torpedo the government's cuts to tax credits. Several have distinctly checkered backgrounds and, unlike George Osborne, not one has any democratic mandate for tactics. So he picks out 9 lords that voted against the changes to the tax credit things. The first one, Baroness Meacher, who I've met. And it's delightful. I met Baroness Meacher. Absolutely, she had a urine infection when I met her. She kept telling me. And he's labelled it number 1, cannabis campaigner. Baroness Meacher, 75, crossbencher, whose amendment defeated the government. A one-time social worker and employment advisor to the Russian government. She was chairman of the All-Party Parliamentary Group for Drug Policy Reform, an advocate of decriminalising hard drugs. She has said some drugs are a good deal safer than tobacco and alcohol, and it may be a very good thing if teenagers stopped getting drunk and took some types of legal highs instead. Well, some drugs are a good deal. So I've interviewed Baroness Meacher about her views on drugs, right? And she's not just saying it because she thinks it's nice. She has overseen tons and tons of research into drug laws and why she thinks they are flawed. And she's got stats and she's got figures and she's got knowledge of why she thinks that. So to have a pop at her because she's was once a social worker and has done a lot of research into drugs. He goes on. Her first husband, this is Andrew Pearce writing this, who's a snarky little so-and-so. Her first husband was Labour Minister Michael Meacher, a close friend of Jeremy Corbyn, who died last week. Jeremy Corbyn's dead. She lives in a £2 million house in Highgate, North London, and rents out 2 adjoining flats. So he's having a go at her, right, because she's quite wealthy and she thinks that maybe drugs should be legalised. Not mentioning the fact that multi-millionaire Andrew Lloyd Webber flew over from New York so that he could vote to keep the tax credit changes. Multi-millionaire Andrew Lloyd Webber, who's never done a day's work in his life. Anyway, that's not the point I was going to get to. Let me get to video games in a second. Let's have some Trav first.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
very busy on the M25 clockwise between junction 24 for Pottersbar and 25 for Enfield. That's because a vehicle broke down there earlier, but it's all open again now. It's slow on the M1 southbound. There are patchy queues between junction 12 for Flitwick and 9 for Redbourne, and it's also looking very wet because of the rain, and visibility could be a problem because of that. In Dunstable on the A5 High Street North, it's slow around Church Street, and in Walthamstow, if you're heading into London, in the North Circular Road, there's been an accident at the Crooked Billet underpass. It's causing long delays in both directions. Eastbound, the queues are from the Kenninghall interchange in Edmonton. On the East Midlands trains, there's no service between Kettering and Leicester because of overrunning engineering works. But looking at the train departure boards on services to London, there are no reported problems. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30, I'm John Kay. Canadian investigators say a whale-watching boat that capsized may have become unstable because the passengers had crowded onto one side of the deck. The vessel overturned off Vancouver Island, leaving 5 British nationals dead. Kamran Farougi from Hertsmere is calling upon Iran to release his dad. Kamal Farougi, who holds dual British and Iranian citizenship, has served more than half of an 8-year jail sentence. Cancer Research UK says thousands of cases of the disease could be diagnosed at an earlier stage. The weather, heavy rain this morning.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Chelsea are out of the League Cup after being beaten 5-4 on penalties by Stoke at the Britannia Stadium. Eden Hazard missed the crucial spot kick.
He's not scored a goal this season yet for Chelsea, and he's not scored here! Saved by Butland! That's it! Stoke have knocked out Chelsea! 5-4 in the penalty shootout!
Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Theo Walcott both suffered injuries in Arsenal's shock 3-0 Capital One Cup defeat to Championship side Sheffield Wednesday. Though putting out a strong starting 11, manager Arsene Wenger admits his bench lacked the experience to cope.
Sheffield Wednesday was sharper, quicker. We were too young and too naive in the end when we lost Chamberlain and Walcott. After that, we were too short in midfield. We are disappointed, of course, but I believe that happened to us before, and we always responded well.
Championship Hull are also through after beating Premier League Leicester in a shootout, while Everton also needed penalties to beat Norwich. Tonight, Liverpool host Bournemouth, with manager Jurgen Klopp still looking for his first win. Daniel Sturridge again misses out with injury. Manchester City take on Crystal Palace. Southampton play managerless Aston Villa, and Manchester United are at home to Middlesbrough. Great Britain's women gymnasts have won their first ever World Team final medal by claiming bronze at the World Championships in Glasgow. So a double celebration for Amy Tinkler, whose performance in the vault helped the team leapfrog the Russians.
Well, just finally though, Amy Tinkler, your last vault as well. Just how was the pressure going into that last vault?
Yeah, I mean, I'm speechless to be honest. I don't even know what to say, but oh my God, I'm just so proud of everyone. I can't believe it.
And what a birthday present as well. And we have one more for you from BBC Sport, and also all the viewers out there. Amy Tinkler, happy 16th birthday.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
World Rugby and Rugby World Cup 2019 have confirmed the dates for Japan 2019. The tournament will start at Tokyo Stadium on Friday the 20th of September, with the final at the International Stadium Yokohama on Saturday the 2nd of November. World Rugby chief Brett Gosper says Japan's performances during the current World Cup can only enhance the tournament.
Had they not been successful in this World Cup, we would have seen a very successful World Cup in 2019. What adds to it is that there's a little bit of a story around them. I mean, they created the biggest upset, probably not just in World Cup history, but in rugby history. They've got an entire population now that seems to be behind them and interested in them. That's going to create the interest that we're looking for across the nation.
That's Three Counties News and Sport, and I'll have more for you at 8.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me down the road. It's where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. down this road that never seems to end. When new adventure lies just around the bend. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's old style. Maybe tomorrow I wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, the whole world is my home. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's old style. Maybe tomorrow I wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. Down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. There's a world that's waiting to unfold, a brand new tale no one has ever told. We've journeyed far, but you know it won't be long. We're almost there and we paid our fare with a hobo song. Maybe tomorrow I wanna settle down. Until tomorrow.
It then just fades out. 03459 455 555. Daily!
Hey, boss, I'm slightly confused.
Go on, buddy.
Okay, so Kelly's leaving.
Yes,
Kelly's
yes.
last day on Friday.
Yes.
And she's going to be replaced, I believe, by Danny Fulbrook, yes?
Now, he's down to the final three.
Right, okay.
It's not definite yet. The Danny Warbucks who's here. Well, tell me why, mate. What's going on? What's your beef?
Well, I said to him, yeah, I'm here, I'm ready to go, I'm on the streets. He said, oh, you sound a bit stressed. I went, yeah, it's raining. You can hear the rain. He went, don't worry, mate. Have a break, have a Kit Kat. What?
Yeah, he said that to you?
Yeah, he said that to me, yeah.
It's outrageous.
Leave this to me. What the hell are you talking about, boy?
I was just chatting to Justin. I was just having chats.
In terms of a Kit Kat for?
Oh,
Do you know this?
I just was
Don't you
talking.
know he died the other week, and you're telling him to have a Kit Kat?
Well, it was a Kit Kat.
The flippancy
It's
of
only a
it.
Kit Kat. It's only a Kit Kat.
Who says that to somebody? Have a break, have a Kit Kat. Who says that? It's not 1987.
I say that. I say that.
Pathetic. Seriously, this is the
You're
home
a
of
boy.
Beds.
You're like 22 years.
Yep.
How old? What are you?
22.
You make me puke.
Why? It's not my fault.
Right, and you're doing. But the thing is, I'm old enough to remember Have a Break, Have a Kit Kat first time around. You're doing it to be postmodern and ironic.
No, it's been in adverts when I was growing up.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
It wasn't.
It was.
It wasn't.
Nope.
Oh, you're right, Ian. It wasn't. Sorry, I was being disrespectful. You're welcome.
I didn't say that. That was.
You did say that. I did say that.
That sounds like Barry from Watford.
You're welcome. You're brilliant, Ian, and I really like to do the job of Kelly here. All right, Danny. Well, would you like to say sorry to Justin? Yes, I'm sorry, Justin.
Thanks, Danny.
I'm a naughty boy.
Yeah, you need to up the bants, mate.
Up the what?
Up the bants.
Now, listen, there's not a lot in the papers, so I don't know if you've got any idea. I mean, the front page of The Sun, cocaine on sale at the BBC. Where?
Yep.
Well, the babyface hacker. I do respect the babyface hacker. I tell you what, we don't know if it's him, and there's an investigation going on and all of that. First of all, if it is a child that has hacked into TalkTalk, then instead of arresting him, give the guy a job in the government. Let him work for MI5 or MI6. Do you know what I mean? If there's kids that can do actual war games like that, then, these people should be given jobs.
Well, we had a situation like that with another guy from Hertfordshire, and his name escapes me at the moment.
Was it Mark or Kevin or Keith?
McKinnon, wasn't it?
Steve.
Yes, I think it might have been. Yeah, he hacked into the American government computer system.
To look for UFOs?
Yeah, absolutely. And they should be giving people like that, obviously not a pat on the back for what they've done, but clearly they're very talented in what they can do.
Oh, it's a gift.
Absolutely.
It's a gift.
Yeah,
Totally.
Yeah.
Then there's another story in the Mail, and again, I don't want to talk specifically about this boy because it's there's all kinds of investigations and things going on. But the headline here is, and this makes me so angry. Right, TalkTalk hacking suspect addicted to violent video games. Oh, addicted to. You're not going to blame this on the fact he likes Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty. You can't blame it on that, for crying out loud. What's that? And it's basically the Daily Mail have got a page to fill, so they've just gone through computers. Let's go into the computer. Oh yeah, violent video games. Go on, tie those two in, and then you're done for the day. And then you can nick off early. That's what they've done. What do they do with it?
one of my favourite ever Voxes, which you were furious about,
go on.
was it was in Luton. It was about Grand Theft Auto, and I spoke to somebody on the streets, and he said, "Yeah, I've been playing it with my friend, and he got inspired by the video game, so he went out the next day and he stole a car. He blamed the video game, and you were furious about it, saying, "What a load of rubbish! He just wanted to steal a car."
Yeah, he wanted to steal a car.
Yeah.
He wanted to. He wasn't. Oh, do you know what? I'm playing Grand Theft Auto, and smashing the window and dragging the person out of the car is so much fun. I'm going to do that for real. It wasn't how the train of events that went through his mind.
But, you know, some people, they are a bit silly. They can't separate the two, can they?
No, exactly. But then, like, Mark Chapman shot John Lennon because he read a book. He read Catcher in the Rye, and he thought it was about him, and he thought it was him telling him to kill a beetle. So what? We're going to ban books?
Yeah, no, we're not going to ban books.
We should. No, you're wrong. Wrong answer. Yes, we're going to ban books. We should ban books.
The British hit singles is something I read every single week, and you know what?
You don't read it every single week, mate. Not since someone nicked it.
That's true.
I'm at my wit's end here.
Very clever.
Did you not get a replacement for that?
Not yet, no.
All right, leave it to me. It's your birthday present coming up. Leave it to me. Leave it to me. It's your birthday present coming up.
You're a good guy. Thank you.
Maybe you can get something out of this. It's a musical kind of vibe this morning, and why the hell not? Jacko is the top dead star, and do you know what? Ooh. It's 7 years to the day since we lost Michael Jackson.
No, it's not.
Yep, 7 years.
No, it's not. It's not.
7 years.
No, it was in the summer.
Yeah, exactly. 7 years to the very day since we lost Michael Jackson.
Yeah, but it's now winter. So how can it be 7 years to the day if we lost him in the summer?
It's 7 years.
Because I was singing Farewell My Summer Love.
7 years to the very day since Michael Jackson beat it for good. And it was bad. And it made me cry with my friend Ben. We were off the wall. I don't know any more Michael Jackson references, so I'm kind of out there.
Michael, I want you back.
7 years to the day since Michael Jackson died, and he's now topped the list of highest earning... Oh, yeah! Isn't it funny, right? Because let's be honest, he was perhaps... And we could do this as a photo as well. Effeminate male pop stars, right? He was one of the campest male pop stars, right? Very, very camp. That voice, the slim stature...
Ow!
Ow! Oh, you're trying to my toe, Tito! Yeah?
Yep.
You're trying to my toe, Tito! Tito trod on his toe is what happened there. Yeah, in all of his songs and his pop, the pop videos, he's like a bad boy.
Yeah.
And some of his, the court cases as well. But he's like a bad boy, and he's playing he's like a gangster, isn't he? He's like a gang member, is what you call it.
He's a bit like you then, because you're on the radio. You're a gangster taking people on the streets. You don't want to know.
Oh, he's on the streets. I'm a lanky streak of wee wee. You wouldn't see me in the rain out there, but he like played like a hoodie, doesn't he? In the pop videos.
Yeah, bad. Yeah.
And in real life, he's a bit limp.
Yeah.
Well, he's now. So. Mike, we'll get to the point here. The Thriller star died 7 years ago this very day, but still pulled in around 75 million nicker over the past year. Flip it, 75. And this is what they say, isn't it? If you want to, if you're a pop star and you're on the wane, die. You make a load of cash.
True.
The Fast and Furious star Paul Walker, I don't know who he is. The top British stars were Elizabeth Taylor was British.
Yeah, I think she was. If they're saying she was British, I'll go along with that.
John Lennon only earned 7.8 million quid. Imagine that. Now, favourite dead pop stars?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I'll take that one to the streets.
It's a very quiet day, Just. It's a very, very quiet day in the papers. If you come up with anything better, but otherwise I know you can make gold out of that.
Yep, I shall take that to the streets, and we'll catch you up a bit later.
Cheers, my dears. Thank you. Someone give that boy an umbrella, for crying out loud. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number. Someone's enjoying the show. Wow, drizzle outside, drivel inside. Thank you very much. Wait, hang on a minute. Flippin' it. What the hell is going on? And someone says, Iain, have you booked Lee Majors to come on the show yet? He said he'd arrange it within 6 months or leave 3CR. Well, I did technically I said that on the air. And negotiations are, let's just say, ongoing, shall we? 03459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M25 has been blocked clockwise by an accident between junction 16 for the M40 and 17 for Maple Cross at the Chelfront Viaduct, and that's causing a queue from junction 14 for Heathrow now. It's also very slow in the opposite direction, with people slowing down to look, and on the M25 clockwise it's very slow between junction 24 for Potters Bar and 25 for Enfield, where there was a breakdown earlier. It's all back open again now. It's still very slow though. Nearby to the other problem on the M25, the M40 heading out of town is very slow from the Denham roundabout towards the M25, and looking at the train departure boards, there are no major problems at the moment, but in Northamptonshire on the East Midlands trains there's no service between Kettering and Leicester. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hey, Sammy.
Yes?
You ain't got. I've just promised on air I was going to get Dealey a copy of the Guinness Book of Hit singles. You can't.
Oh, have you got it yet?
No, you can't get it.
Can't get it.
I'm looking at the I don't want to say the name of Amazon. I'm looking at the online place where you do the order, and they do Amazon Prime delivery.
You just said Amazon twice.
Don't, Sammy. We're not allowed to mention brand names. It's the biggest.
It's a rainforest.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, we're not allowed to mention specific rainforests because that excludes other rainforests, and as you know, we are the all-inclusive BBC. Well, they haven't got it on there.
Oh, well, maybe you need to go to a bookshop.
Yeah,
in
well,
person.
maybe you need to just sort your attitude out. 7:46. It's Tuesday, the 28th of October. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Kamran Farougi from Hertsmere is calling upon Iran to release his dad, who holds dual British and Iranian citizenship. He served more than half of an 8-year jail sentence and he's currently ill. Cancer Research UK says thousands of cases of the disease could be diagnosed at an earlier stage, and 2 senior police officers have suggested that the era of the bobbies on the beat has come to an end. Let's get the weather.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello there. The Met Office have a yellow warning in place for rain until 11 o'clock for Hertfordshire, but the rain is going to be affecting just about all of us. It's pretty heavy at times, particularly this morning, so do watch out for surface water flooding. It gradually works its way off to the north, taking with it most of the cloud this afternoon and leaving some sunny spells, temperatures reaching 14 degrees Celsius. Tonight, mainly dry, clear at first, but we've got a fair amount of cloud building through the early hours of the morning, and temperatures dipping down to 9 or 10 degrees Celsius, so staying mild. Dry and bright first thing tomorrow, but we have got a band of rain pushing eastwards. It's pretty fragmented, it's quite drizzly, but it stays with us through the afternoon and into the night. Temperatures tomorrow reaching 14 degrees Celsius. So overnight, that drizzle continues and then is joined by heavier rain, which will stay with us through Friday, leaving in the afternoon, and a couple of showers probably going to be left towards the end of the day. Saturday and Sunday, though, looking dry and brighter, a bit cloudier on Sunday, though, with some mist and fog during the night and in the mornings, but staying very mild indeed. That's your latest forecast.
Thank you very much.
On this week's Best of podcast.
What's all this about kicking a cow, Peter? Line 3, what would you like to say?
Download all the latest podcasts at bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio.
Morning, Ian, how are you?
Is that your real voice?
Hi.
Is that your real dog?
The Iain Lee Best of podcast.
What's the youngest Gary you know? I need you to talk about Kelly in the past tense, OK? Do you know what that means? I forgot Grumpy Jamie was coming in today.
Yeah.
What a buzzkill. Remind us why I thought it was a good idea to invite you in.
Download all the latest podcasts at bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio. This is Iain Lee.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
Life is returning to its dull, boring, staid, normal self in Potters Bar after 2 suspected World War II shells were found in a garden. Shells, not shelves. I may have said shelves. 2 devices were discovered in Park Avenue on Sunday. But it kind of got me thinking, how many bombs left over? Every time every now and then, every few months, you get a bomb. Oh, we found a World War II bomb. How many have they left over? Let's speak to the writer and military historian, Dr. Mark Felton. How many World War II bombs are left out there, Mark?
Quite a lot. The Germans dropped 75,000 tons of bombs on the UK in World War II, and of that, between 5 and 15% never went off.
Wowzers. Now, why did they not go off? Was it bad bombmanship, bad bomb design, or is it just, that's just what happens with bombs? Sometimes they don't go off.
Absolutely. The second answer, German engineering is fantastic. They produce very, very good, well-engineered bombs. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, if it lands in the wrong place, the wrong kind of soil or bounces or something, these things won't necessarily go off.
And then, excuse me if these questions sounds really, really dumb, Mark, but this has had me scratching my head for some time. So a bomb that didn't go off, would it somehow bury itself underground, or would it just lie there and, kids would play? How come they hadn't been noticed at the time?
Well, these bombs would have landed at very high velocity and buried themselves many meters below the ground. Not noticed at the time because of the bomb damage from the actual bombs which had exploded. So, a relatively small hole which probably collapsed itself quite quickly wouldn't necessarily be noted when, houses are on fire and everything's destroyed. So that's how these particular bombs managed to disappear.
Do these bombs ever spontaneously go off? Because you often hear, workers stopped in North London because they've dug up an old bomb. Do these bombs ever go off spontaneously?
I would have thought on occasion this has probably happened, but the normal thing is, a guy on a digger or something will dislodge it, or any kind of building work could cause these things to go off. And they are so unstable now, we're talking about even the slightest movement can set them off.
There must be a real moment of, first of all, fear, and I would imagine then excitement at a work site because they get the rest of the day off. Have you been to one of these sites when they found one of these bombs? I just wonder what the atmosphere was like.
No, I haven't, I'm afraid, but I have written about it a bit and spoken to a lot of people involved, especially on the bomb disposal side. I mean, discovering these things, they're normally misidentified because they're very difficult to note as a bomb, this rusty tube-like structure. The fins have come off a long time ago, etc. So they normally, people bash them and think, what the hell is this?
No.
And then eventually work out, actually, it might actually be bombs, so perhaps we should call the army in and look at this. And then these guys have to tinker around with these, highly dangerous. And, the other thing is the size.
Tinkering around with a rusty tube. I mean, gosh.
Yeah, we're talking, many of the bombs are in the region of 1,000 kilograms.
Wowzers.
Which is a huge amount of explosive.
Yeah. And are they? I mean, they've been there for 70 odd years. Are they? Is it easy to get into the bomb and disarm it? I'm imagining as well that the bomb technology is completely different now. So the bomb disposal experts, obviously, they know what they're doing. But are they easy to get into?
Well, it depends on the type of bomb. The Germans fitted them with anti-tamper devices specifically to stop people disposing of them. So they have to take that into consideration. The worst ones are the delayed action bombs. They were designed to bury themselves and then go off up to 150 hours after the raid so they could kill emergency services personnel. We did the same thing in Germany.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
These kind of ones, they have acid fuses, which have become very, very unstable. Because the thing with these bombs is the TNT itself never deteriorates, so that remains highly dangerous. But the fuses, they do badly deteriorate, and that becomes extremely difficult to actually defuse them. So that's the really dangerous part for the guys, is disconnecting the detonator from the actual explosive itself.
Mark, why are we still fascinated with all this stuff?
I think it's because World War II, it's an endless series of fantastic stories of human endurance and survival and all of those kind of things. And for us, regarding the bombing, we were bombed. This was the Blitz and everything else. This was civilians in the front line. So that's why it still is remembered and talked about. And it's important we don't forget what happened in this country during the Second World War.
One final question. We get this when we're building, blocks of flats and stuff like that. Do the Germans have the same thing when they're like digging up, Germany to build flats? We've lost you. We just lost you for a second. Sorry, Mark. What was that?
Yeah. I'm very glad you asked me that question. The Germans dropped 75,000 tons of bombs on Britain. We and the Americans dropped 1.9 million tons. So you can imagine, with a failure rate of 5 to 15%.
They got loads more.
Yeah, they're talking hundreds of thousands of tons, and they're pulling out around about 2,000 tons a year.
Blimey.
Which is enormous amounts of explosives. And not just that, because the whole of Germany was a battleground. There's millions of artillery shells, hand grenades, all of this sort of stuff as well. So their military bomb disposal people are super, super busy.
Mark, really interesting to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. Dr. Mark Felton, writer, military historian. Imagine that. So you just think, follow that, Gatford.
I don't think I can. Really.
Exactly.
I don't think that's
You couldn't follow. If we just had like a baby on looking at a grape, you couldn't follow that. It would be a local baby. It'd be a local baby.
Yeah, local and vocal.
We've got. Okay. Well. Just Denise. Thanks for. Hang on a minute, Gatford. I'm doing a piece. Denise, thanks ever so much for bringing Sparkle in, your little baby, and she really is beautiful, and really stares at a grape wonderfully. That's Denise and Sparkle. They're from Bedfordshire, and Sparkle has been staring at a grape. Let's go to Gatford on the line. Morning, Gatford.
Morning.
So you couldn't even follow a baby looking at a grape, mate?
That said, any chance, I just, I'm keen that the nation gets this, just any chance you could do a date and time check?
Yeah, okay. June the 27th,
No.
25 past 10.
See, the last two times, you called it Tuesday, the 28th of October.
Right. Well, what's wrong with that?
Well, it's Wednesday.
Oh, blimey!
I know Kelly Betts is leaving, and I assume she's producing the show.
Hang on a second. Yes, Kelly Betts is leaving, and she's producing the show.
What kind of discipline do you feel you should lay down?
I'm going to give her some discipline. Hang on a second. Kelly, you are a very, very naughty girl. That's that sorted. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. Peter?
Hi, good morning.
I've got something for you.
And what is that?
All right, Peter. What do you want to have a whinge about today?
I was listening to you talking about bombs, actually.
About what? We were talking about bombs. Bombs. Clean your ears out, not bums.
Bombs.
Bombs.
Right, now then, during the war, the ARP and the firemen...
Whinging his way across beds, hards and bugs. Peter in Woolmer Green.
Bodies, basically.
Peter!
People.
Okay, well, you put a little dampener on things there.
They didn't look for unexploded bombs very much.
No.
And occasionally they used to find one.
Yes.
And at the same time, we don't talk very much about all the big galvanised tanks that was full of water waiting to be sprayed onto...
Why would we talk about the big galvanised...
Well, because the kids in East London in them days, we used to fill them with fish. Absolutely. Every one of them galvanised tanks had fish in them.
What, living fish?
Yeah, from the canal.
Why would you do that?
Because there was a pleasure to do. And they lived
They was a pleasure to do.
They did very well in these tanks as well.
Okay, well...
No one fished.
Did they win the lottery or something?
Pardon?
Did they win the lottery?
Did they what?
Win the lottery? You said they did very well.
By the way, you get a very limited clientele if you don't interview people with an accent like mine, because you won't interview any Australians, Jesus or Shakespeare.
There's a problem with interviewing Jesus or Shakespeare.
And all the Aussies stand like me.
Can you do an Australian accent, Peter?
That is. The Cockney accent is an Australian accent.
No, it's not, Peter. It's a Cockney accent, but thank you. Gaffer, what have you called it? Have you called it for Kelly's poem?
No, I've given up on that. I'm going for a collage or an interpretive dance by Friday now.
Okay, well, what do you want?
Well, I was trying to pick you up on your Wednesday thing.
Well, I'm going to pick you up on the fact I've just cut you off.
Okay.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25, they're accused clockwise approaching junction 16 for the M40 because of an accident that's just happened there earlier on this morning at the Chelfront Viaduct. It's been moved off the road now, but it's still very, very slow. And also clockwise, it's busy between junction 24 for Potters Bar and 25 for Enfield after a lane was closed there earlier for a breakdown. All the lanes are back open, but it's still very slow. It's busy on the M1 southbound between junction 13 for Bedford and 9 for Redbourne, and there's patchy queues all the way down the M1. Looking at the cameras, it's very wet, and the visibility is quite bad there too. On the A5 High Street North southbound, it's very slow from Houghton Road towards Brewers Hill Road through the roadworks. And on the trains, there's no reported problems at the moment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. Yes, I know. Morning, guys. Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Not a clue what we're talking about. Oh, OK, here we go. Where do you keep your fish? There we go. That's what we'll do for the last hour of the show.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock, I'm John Kay. The headlines: signs of cancer could be detected earlier. A Hertfordshire man calls for his unwell father to be released by the Iranians. And concern over funding Bedfordshire's police force.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The charity Cancer Research UK says almost 20,000 cases of the disease could be diagnosed earlier if all regions match the performance of the best. It says new figures show unacceptable variation between different parts of the country. NHS England says it's working towards giving all patients cancer test results within 4 weeks by 2020. But Matthew Wickenden from Cancer Research UK says it's clear that some people are losing out.
Early diagnosis gives you the best chance of surviving cancer, and what these figures mean is that there's people who perhaps could have had a better chance of surviving cancer or may have just had longer with their families, and obviously that is something that Cancer Research UK and everyone else really wants to see happening right now.
A Hertfordshire man's calling for his 76-year-old father, who's unwell, to be released from an Iranian prison on compassionate grounds. Kamal Farougi, who holds dual British and Iranian citizenship, has served more than half of an 8-year sentence for espionage. His son Kamran from Hertsmere says his family are desperate to see him.
My daughters have grown up half their lives not seeing him, having seen him a lot when they were younger, and they keep asking when he's coming home. We don't have any answer to that question.
Two of the country's most senior police officers have signalled the era of routine patrols by bobbies on the beat has come to an end. The head of the National Police Chiefs Council and a Deputy Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police made the comments ahead of expected cuts to the police budget next month. Nip Hopkins reports.
Speaking to Newsnight, Craig Mackey, Scotland Yard's Deputy Commissioner, said the threshold for investigating some crimes would rise, and in what would be an unprecedented move, the Met was looking to get private funding from banks and big business to pay for some programmes. Sarah Thornton, the head of the National Police Chiefs Council, said forces simply wouldn't have enough officers to conduct routine patrols everywhere. The policing minister, Mike Penning, said what mattered was how officers were deployed, not how many of them there were.
A meeting's due to take place today between Bedfordshire's MPs and the policing minister Mike Penning over funding for the county's police force. The local politicians are unhappy with the funding for Bedfordshire and are leading a campaign for a larger budget. Meanwhile, a petition started by the county's Police and Crime Commissioner to gain support from local people has so far received around 7,000 signatures. Ollie Martins will be in Luton's main shopping centre again today to encourage people to sign. He says the force could become unsustainable unless they get more money. Marks & Spencer temporarily suspended its online shopping site last night after customers reported that they could see other people's account details and orders when they logged in. The company said the website had experienced technical difficulties, but there was no loss of data. The weather for Beds, Herts and Bucks: a cloudy morning ahead with heavy rain and the top temperature at 14 Celsius, 57 Fahrenheit. You can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Lesby Avenue. Thank you, John. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number. It's the show's kind of you know what, we're kind of taxiing on the runway. We're not really taken off yet, but we will. We'll get there, guys. Don't worry. Don't panic, Mr. Mannering. Your favourite dead rock star? Where'd you keep your fish? Ever found an unexploded bomb? Ever found any... There we go. What have you found buried in your back garden? Ladies and gentlemen, we're there. 03459 455 555. You can text 81333. Start your text 3CR. If you wanted to, you could also send us an email, ian.lee@bbc.co.uk. I spell Ian properly, by the way, IAIN.LEE at bbc.co.uk.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Kelly Betts, it is her last week here this... hang on a second, let me just... Bob, what do you want?
Hello, I just want to say to Kelly...
Yes?
Sorry she's got to leave.
Yeah, she has to leave.
She's very good. She is good. Lovely programme. I'm up every morning at 6 o'clock to listen.
Well, you're very good. Well, but you say that Kelly's very good, but good at what? This is the thing I've never been able to ascertain.
No, she is in charge.
What? She's what?
She's in charge of the whole programme. This man sitting up there.
Oh, Bob.
Stop, listen.
Stop.
This man you've got speaking at the moment, he goes, goodbye, Kelly.
Yes.
Can we have somebody who doesn't stutter? Next, please.
Hang on a minute. You're telling me you want someone who doesn't stammer?
Yes.
You know you're on the air and you're talking to me.
Am I really?
Not anymore, you're not. He's telling me he doesn't want a stammerer. I thought he'd been applauding that, the brothers and everything. 0345. Well, Kelly, it's great to have you in charge. Apparently that's what you do. I was completely unaware of that.
This is Iain Lee.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
There we go. Now... OK, on to more serious issues. The Hertfordshire family of a 76-year-old man who's being held in an Iranian prison say they're worried about his health and are pleading for him to be released. Kamal Farougi holds dual British and Iranian citizenship and is over 4 years into an 8-year sentence for espionage. Amnesty International have called for Iranian authorities to ensure he receives the medical care he requires. Well, his son, Cameron, joins me in the studio. Thanks very much for coming in. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you, Ian.
What happened to your dad?
Well, this all came out completely out of the blue in May 2011. He was in his Tehran flat with his wife, my stepmom, 2 friends, and 5 guys just knocked on the door. No ID, plain clothes, and just said, "You're coming with us." He would have been what, 70 there? 71.
71.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, and they're like, "Who are you? What's going on?" Didn't give any explanation. Just said, "Sorry, you've got to come with us." No charge, no ID, no explanation, and just took him. And then, it took about a year before he was even told he was being charged. It took about another year before he was, had a trial. Even during that second year, he wasn't even told really what the charges were. And then, the trial happened in 2013. And then we got sort of shock number one was this taken, and we were told, stay quiet. If you go public now, it'll get a lot worse for him.
Who was telling you that?
We had a number of friends in Tehran. He had a lawyer. This is obviously a very different system.
And the implication was, if you kind of made a fuss about it, it would affect his case badly.
It could escalate quite significantly.
Wow.
Yes, and obviously in that country, a lot of people get very severe sentences. And to be honest, we just thought from the beginning this was a big mistake. Just got completely confused. Had no understanding of what this was about. My stepmom stayed in Tehran for a while and was able to visit a few times, tried many times, and was supposed to have access more often than that. Was being told by him, "I'm just being questioned about everyone I know in Britain," and going through my records and going through my phone and saying, "How do you know this person? When do you meet this person?" And he said, to be honest, I'm comfortable. I think this will blow over in a few weeks. I'm comfortable. We just sit it out. If we go public now, they might get it might get much worse. I think this will be over in a few weeks. Tell the family not to worry. Then my stepmom came over later in 2011. Hasn't gone back since. Been on the phone with the lawyer and friends in Tehran.
She worried that if she went back, she'd be arrested.
She was, yeah,
right.
Yeah, she was. I mean, to be honest, the problem is none of us know what this is about, and so we're all worried, and none of us have gone back. And the other problem is that he's not really allowed any visitors.
Yeah.
So he gets no visitors. He hasn't had proper medical care. He was relatively healthy when he went in, but now like his health is deteriorating.
What? So it's espionage, so spying.
Well, there were two charges. One was, we only found this out in 2013. One was espionage, and one was alcohol in the home. And the espionage was 7 years, and the alcohol was 1 year. And the espionage, were like, what on earth? Where did this come from? Really.
I have to ask: did he have alcohol in his home?
I think he did. Yeah.
Okay, and that's illegal in Iran, is it?
That is, but on the other hand, it's totally unheard of for anyone to get jail time for it. And the normal practice, if it's found, is they ask you to pour it away. They don't make a big thing of it, and then occasionally you get a fine. And we've had. Good lawyers telling us they don't actually know what law. They can't find a law which says you can get jail time for alcohol.
The other question is your dad a spy?
No, he's not. Let me tell you a bit about his background.
Go on, please.
He's a civil engineer by trade. He was in the construction industry in his early years, and then he got more into the oil and gas industry. There's obviously a lot of jobs around there. And since 2004, he's an old man. Since 2004, he was basically doing part-time consultancy work for one organisation, and that's Petronas, major international oil and gas organisation, Malaysian government-owned. And he was just doing part-time work there, and then coming. He was flying between the two quite a lot, seeing us quite a lot when he was over here. He's obviously got friends there, and he wasn't working that hard. His main hobby is tennis, so he's basically doing some work, seeing family and friends, and playing tennis. That was his life, and so we don't really understand where this came from.
It's a fascinating story for me. On the outside, from the inside, it must be just torture. The fact that this is going on.
It is torture, and to be honest, right from the beginning, we were like you, like what on earth is this charge about, and where did it come from? But actually, we're well past that stage now. Our priority now is get him out and get him home. He hasn't been with family for 4.5 years.
What are Iranian prisons like? I've got no idea. Are they? I imagine they're a bit ropey.
Well, this is Evin prison. It's very well known, and there's lots of stories on the on the internet. There's stories about how you don't get beds. You get, if you're lucky, you get sort of mattresses, or you maybe sleep on blankets. I must say he's never. He speaks to us on the telephone very briefly. We've had that access for about a year. Before that, there was no access at all.
Right. How often do you get to speak to him?
Well, I speak to him once a week.
Okay.
It has to be in Farsi. That's the only condition. And
Right.
When this started, I didn't actually speak Farsi well at all, so I've been learning very intensively. My stepmom gets calls from him most days, and the good thing, I sort of went public just in the last couple of weeks, and the good thing is those have continued. We haven't seen any sort of aren't aware of any sort of negative effects so far of going public, which
he's not well, is he?
He's not well, and he needs specialised tests given his background, and we've been pushing the authorities for ages about this, and they keep every month or so taking him to hospital, and then he gets to the hospital, and then there's no one there who can help, and so they take him back. So they are taking him to the hospital, but they're not doing anything with him. So it's very difficult to know exactly how ill he is. But we know he's getting older. We know he needs these these cancer tests, and he sounds weaker on the phone. So we're very worried, and we're just getting no information out, and he's not getting any proper medical treatment at all.
Why are you speaking out now?
Well, a couple of reasons. One is the health side, and the fact that we just want him home, and we want to forget all about this, and we don't want a big argument about the case, even though we think it's nonsense. But also, up until May of this year, we were promised that it's typical practice in Iran for prisoners when they finish half their sentence to be let out on good behaviour.
Right.
His behaviour has been immaculate. He's not complaining about anything, so we just thought it was going to be May, and we were told it was going to be May. And then May came, and then they said, oh, no, there's going to be an Eid at the end of Ramadan in July, and that's when a lot of people get pardoned. He's on the list, don't worry. If you go, and we also getting told, if you go public, then it's not going to happen, and we're never going to release him. But I got to we got to the stage of thinking, once May didn't happen, we got to the stage of thinking, well, there's a danger of not going public, and that danger is that he even comes to the end of his sentence and they still don't release him, or he just dies in prison.
Yeah.
So it's like whatever we do,
they're not keeping their promises anyway.
No, they haven't from the beginning, to be honest. They never really explain what this is about at the beginning.
He is. Let me remind listeners. He holds dual British and Iranian citizenship.
That's correct.
So we have a responsibility to this gentleman. Is the British government doing anything?
I think they're doing what they can. I first approached them in 2013. With hindsight, you could say I could have approached them earlier. There's very little they can do, but I think they can do more now that the relationship's a lot better. So they see them a lot and they're escalating, and they're in the embassy in Iran. They're trying to do things, but I think it's very slow.
And they are talking about your dad, because the Iranians don't recognise dual citizenship, do they?
So that's the big problem. In the Iranian constitution, it just says if you're an Iranian citizen, you're an Iranian citizen. We don't care about anything else. So I think they've been raising, for almost 2 years now. My dad's case with the Iranians, and initially the Iranians were like, "It's nothing to do with you. Stop asking us about this guy." But I think I take small promising signs. I mean, I was actually in the Iranian embassy in London yesterday. I made contact in the beginning of September once the embassy's opened, and the diplomat I'm dealing with there is very sympathetic, and he's trying his best. But the problem is we seem so many layers removed from the decision makers in Tehran around the right authorities in the judiciary, it just seems to take ages to get any message to the right person. And I've been in contact with Iranians directly for over a year now. I made contact in the Iranian embassy in New York for the United Nations, and then switched over to the London embassy when it opened, and just keep bugging them. And the diplomats I deal with are sympathetic and say they'll do their best, but nothing seems to change.
How's it affecting you?
Well, to be honest, how it affects me, I don't feel is very important. I'm just, I'm always, worried about my dad. For all the family, it's been very. My kids my daughters keep asking, when's Grandad coming home? They've now, we sort of told them what it was about, but they've now, seen him on the telly, and obviously, listening to this radio program. They're really realising how important and how big this is, and they've been confused for years, like we have, about why did he suddenly stop coming back, and why can't we see him?
Optimistic? Do you think that coming out? I mean, obviously, maybe it's a silly question. This is dragging on, but do you think that coming out and talking about it is
from an emotional point of view? I feel better coming out. I don't like keeping this secret. As far as I'm concerned, we as a family have got nothing to hide. And so from an emotional point of view, yes, I'm still a bit uncertain about how this will go, and I think it's important now that it's out that everyone is aware of it, everyone talks to each other about it. We've got, in the last couple of weeks, we've had a website put up, freekamalfarougi.com.
Just spell that out for us so that people can go and have a look at that.
Yeah, sorry. So free, F-R-E-E, obviously, and then it's all one word, and then my father's first name, K-A-M-A-L, and then his surname, my surname, F for Freddie, O-R-O-U-G-H-I.
.com. All right.
freekamalfarougi.com. And same spelling, facebook.com/freekamalfarougi. So we've got a Facebook page.
Okay.
I've got a Twitter account. And we're in the very final stages of launching a petition, hopefully in the next couple of days.
You keep in touch with us and let us know.
Yeah, very, very happy to come back.
I really wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Back.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, that's all we want. Is him back so he can spend time with us.
Brilliant. Nice to talk to you. Yeah. Thank you very much indeed.
03459 455 555. Let's get the travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are queues on the M25 clockwise. There's been an accident just after junction 16 for the M40, which is causing a delay from junction 15 for the M4, and it has been reopened, but it's very slow. And there's also long delays on the M25 anti-clockwise, all the way from the M1 around to junction 14 for Heathrow after an accident's happened there, and joined up with the rush hour queues. On the A1M, it's busy southbound between junction 10 for Baldock and 7 for Stevenage, and on the A5 High Street North in is looking very slow southbound from the Houghton Road towards Brewers Hill Road through the roadworks. On the East Midlands trains, there are delays between Luton and St Pancras because a train's broken down. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you very much indeed. We were just saying what a nice bloke Cameron was, flipping heck. And well, his dad's got a good one fighting for him in his corner. We'll keep you up to date with that story. If we get any more details about that as it goes on, we shall of course let you know. Thank you so much for coming in. Makes you think, doesn't it? Right, where are we now? It is 8:18. It is, for you pendants out there, it's Wednesday, the 28th of October. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines. A meeting is due to take place today between Bedfordshire MPs and the Policing Minister Mike Penning over funding for the county's police force. Kamran Foroughi from Hertsmere is calling upon Iran to release his dad, Kamal Foroughi, who holds dual British and Iranian citizenship. And Canadian investigators say a whale-watching boat that capsized may have become unstable because the passengers had crowded onto one side of the deck.
Every weekday morning.
Isn't it nice to have a good discussion about things in a polite way?
My opinion is, you make a very valid point. As long as the person can do the job, I don't care.
Hence, I'm saying she's completely out of touch.
It doesn't always happen like that, though, does it?
Well, if you let me speak, I'll let you know what they are then.
Well, that don't prove that an accident's been caused, does it?
The JVS Show.
My big phone in every morning from 9 gets everybody talking.
First of all, I congratulate you. Got a very good topic on this morning. I'd like to share some experiences.
I'm not going to respond to that statement because I find that quite inflammatory.
The JVS Show. Weekdays from 9 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
A poster campaign to raise awareness of child abuse has started in Milton Keynes. Images with the words "Milton Keynes says no to child abuse" have gone up in the town on buildings and on the back of buses. Well, Jane Held is the independent chair of the Milton Keynes Safeguarding Children Board. Jane, I think the way that these interviews have been written out for me, I think I'm supposed to be a little bit snarky about this, but I've seen the posters. I think they're a great idea. How did they come about?
They came about because we know, and all the national research says, that the best way to protect children is within their own communities and their own families. So we wanted to help raise awareness of that and help people realise that it's the right thing to do if they're worried about a child, to talk about it.
The phone numbers and the email address that are on all the posters, where do they go to? Who will you be? Who will, if I were to, phone that up or send an email, who would I be in communication with?
You'd be talking to somebody at what's called the Multi-Agency Safeguarding Hub. That's an organisational group of police and social workers who together will talk to you about what you're concerned about and will ask a number of questions to help decide what's the best thing to do about it. Of course, if it's a really big risk, you're really worried about it, go straight to the police.
Yeah. I mean, supposing, I live 2 doors down and I see a 7-year-old kid, he comes out one day, he's got a black eye. Is that something I should be getting in touch with? What kind of things should people be contacting you with?
And if you know the family well and you know that would be very, very unusual, and you know the little boy, you'd be able to say, "Hi, how did you get that black eye?" But if you knew that was the 3rd or 4th or 5th time you'd seen it, and he was showing other things that were worrying you about being anxious or frightened or bolshy or lots of things, that's when you really ought to start thinking, maybe I need to do something about this.
And are the phone numbers, are they 24/7 or is it office hours? What's the deal there? Hello?
Oh, sorry about.
Oh, Jane, you keep disappearing. Whatever you're pressing, don't.
No, sorry, the phone disconnected. My apologies.
The old phone disconnected ploy. I've heard that before. Yeah, the phone number, is it office hours 24/7?
It's office hours is 01908 253 169 or 70. Out of hours, it's 01908 2655 545. Okay. So it is 24/7.
Okay. Because we've had, I think the reason that we were doing this story, the way the show works, Jane, is I come in and there are some suggested questions for me and I follow them or I don't. I tend to prefer to have a chat. And the way these questions are written, I think I'm supposed to have a tone about this because of the phrase, Milton Keynes says no to child abuse. And the line is then, where actually says yes. And there have been 1 or 2 kind of dissenting voices on Twitter and Facebook and stuff saying, well, that's a stupid line, isn't it? But the poster isn't entirely that. That's just kind of the neat little tagline that you've got, isn't it?
Yes, it's the way of getting people to realise that actually it's really, really important and it's as much their business as it is anybody else's. It's dead easy for people to think, that's somebody else's problem, that's the problem for social workers or it's a problem for someone else. Actually, it isn't. People in communities protect children.
Jane, I wish you the very best of luck with it, and if one kiddie gets helped as a result of it, then it has been thoroughly worthwhile. So best of luck.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much indeed. 03459 455 555.
Local and vocal across Beds, Herts and Bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's easy for people on Twitter to have a pop about something like that because you just get the line on Twitter. Milton Keynes says no to child abuse. Well, where would say yes then? What a ridiculous campaign. But, you know, go and have a look at the posters before you do that. That's not just, you know, saying Milton Keynes twinned with Montreux in France. And also, we say no to child abuse. Remember when I used to live in Slough? At one point they went up, and I think they were official signs, Slough, an anti-nuclear town was you get as you're driving. Yeah, maybe an anti-nuclear town, but it's a pro-dump. That's a little bit hard. No, it's quite fair on Slough, actually. 03459 455 555 is the phone number that David in Hitchin continually dials. Good morning, David.
Hello there, Ian.
Yeah, hello there, David. Classic pants. Still on that rubbish phone, I see?
Yeah. Well, one of these days I'll have the money to get another one.
Ah?
One of these days I'll have the money to get another one.
Ah?
Yeah, exactly right.
Thank you very much indeed. What you got for us, boss?
Well, it's just, I know that Elvis had part Indian, American Indian ancestry.
Yes.
And for that reason, he did have a slightly ethnic look about him.
David, your line is worse than usual. I can't. You're going to have to get a new phone, dude. Honestly, I tried and I just. Oh, hello, monkeys. So here's the thing. Danny Warbucks he's kind of in third place at the moment to replace Kelly Betts when she leaves.
Third?
Sorry?
Third?
Yeah, that's the latest.
Who's second?
Don't make it fourth.
Well, Kelly Betts is actually second place to replace Kelly Betts.
And who's first?
I'm not allowed to say for security reasons.
Who's security?
Akeem's. But you shocked us all this morning by coming in wearing a shirt that looks like it's from the 1980s. Congratulations on that.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with my shirt.
It's flecked. I think we'd call that flecked, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Why does everyone always pick on the shirt?
Because it's a rubber shirt. They always pick on that shirt specifically, or your other shirts?
This shirt specifically.
Well, then that answers your question,
Matt
dude.
Lockwood thought I had dandruff on me.
It looks like it. He's a fine one to talk. He'd have dandruff if there wasn't so much grease in his hair holding his dandruff in place.
Yeah, he probably would.
Well, you shocked us this morning because you're here. You're not dedicated to the cause. You're here today. You're here tomorrow. You're not here Friday because you're going to. Well, you're going back in time. You're going to Blackpool.
Yep.
Why?
I don't know. Just fun. Halloween.
Who goes to? Is it like you like loads of your young friends?
No, not loads of my young friends. No.
Who your boyfriend? Who are you going with?
Girlfriend.
Your girlfriend, and you were going to Blackpool for Halloween.
Yeah.
Why?
It was her idea.
Is it? Have you got spooky balls? Halloween ball? Are they having Halloween balls up there?
Oh no, there's a gig.
Now we're in.
Gig.
Now we're in. Kelly, over to you. He speak your language.
Yeah.
Who are you going to see?
James Bay.
Oh, you?
Yeah.
Oh, from Hitchin.
Yep, good guy.
Oh, I first heard him in 2007.
While those two are having a chat about James Bay playing in Blackpool, let me tell you what's actually happening. Danny is probably going to get the job filling in for Kelly. He doesn't know this yet. We don't want him to know it. We want him to work really, really hard this week. And then at the end of the week, we're going to tell him he hasn't got the job, but actually he has got the job. So just to clarify, the new Kelly Betts is Dishy Danny Warbucks. The new Kelly Betts is Dishy Danny Warbucks, but shh, he doesn't know that yet.
He's in Blackpool, is he?
Yeah, he's in Manchester, so we're in Blackpool for the weekend, but then we're going to go over to Manchester.
But the thing about, well, why don't you just go to Manchester, which is the seventh best city in the world according
Hasn't
to
got
the
a pleasure beach.
Well, neither is Blackpool. It's called a pleasure beach. It should be called a flipping miserable beach from the 70s. It's horrible there. And Blackpool in October, sweet Lord, you're going to want to kill yourself. So go to Manchester. Manchester's got the gay canal. It's got you go 10 miles out, you've got a statue to Frank Sidebottom. It's got a library, it's got all these things in Manchester. Blackpool's got nothing.
You got higher and higher there.
Yeah, I know, and I must try and knock that on the head. It really is interfering with work, so I apologise. 03459 455 555. The last 30 minutes of the show, has anybody, and I mean anybody, got a good thing to say about Blackpool? I don't think so.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are long delays on the M25 anti-clockwise because of an accident just after junction 14 for Heathrow. That's causing a delay from junction 21 for the M1, but all the lanes are back open again. It's still very slow though. And clockwise on the M25 just after junction 16 at the Chalfont Viaduct, there was an accident earlier too. That's causing a delay from junction 15 for the M4. In Bisham on the A404, they're accused southbound because of a police incident that's going on between Bradenham Lane at the Temple turnoff and the Henley turnoff, as causing problems back from the M40, the High Wycombe Handycross roundabouts, and the High Street North in Dunstable is very slow southbound. It's busy in both directions around Brewers Hill Road, actually through the roadworks. On the M1 southbound, it's very slow between junction 13 for Bedford and 9 for Redbourne. We've had reports of patchy queues all the way down and problems with visibility and surface water on the roads. And on the train departure boards, just checking, the East Midlands trains between Luton and St Pancras have got delays because of a breakdown. Samantha Breath, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you so much.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30, I'm John Kay. Cancer Research UK says vital opportunities to diagnose patients early and increase their chance of survival are being missed. A meeting is due to take place today between Bedfordshire's MPs and the Policing Minister Mike Penning over funding for the county's police force. Ollie Martins, Bedfordshire's Police and Crime Commissioner, will be in Luton's main shopping centre again today to encourage people to sign a petition. Kamran Farougi from Hertsmere is calling upon Iran to release his dad. Kamal Farougi, who holds dual British and Iranian citizenship, has served more than half of an 8-year jail sentence and he's currently ill. The weather, heavy rain this morning.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Eden Hazard missed the crucial spot kick as holders Chelsea were dumped out of the League Cup on penalties at Stoke. Loic Remy's injury time equaliser has forced extra time after Jonathan Walters had given Stoke the lead. Manager Jose Mourinho refused to point the finger at Hazard.
When we go to penalties, we go confident, but we missed one, and this is the last thing I do in my career is to blame a player, because the easiest thing is for a player to say I don't take. So when a player takes and misses, has my respect.
Arsenal are out of the League Cup too, beaten 3-0 by Championship side Sheffield Wednesday. The defeat could prove even more costly to manager Arsene Wenger, who saw both Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Theo Walcott go off early with injuries.
Both of them are muscular injuries, so you need to wait 48 hours in the scan to see how big the damage is, but they're of course out for the next game. When you lose two players like that, you look at your bench and you think, do I bring another experienced player on and risk to lose another one?
Championship Hull also through after beating Premier League Leicester in a shootout, while Everton also needed penalties to beat Norwich. Tonight, Liverpool host Bournemouth with manager Jurgen Klopp still looking for his first win. Daniel Sturridge again misses out with injury. Manchester City takes on Crystal Palace, Southampton play managerless Aston Villa, and Manchester United are at home to Middlesbrough. An historic day, Great Britain's women gymnasts. They've won their first ever World Team Final medal by claiming bronze at the World Championships in Glasgow. The United States won gold while China took silver. Becky Downey was particularly pleased for her sister Ellie, who had earlier made an error in her bars routine.
This week's been a really crazy week. After qualifications, I had quite a big disappointment, but we knew that we had the potential to come in fighting today. For me, I had to change my bar routine a bit rapidly, and I just said to the girls, a team final, anything can happen. After that first mistake, the girls did amazing, and I couldn't have asked for any more. I'm just so pleased.
The dates for the 2019 Rugby World Cup in Japan have been confirmed. It'll start at Tokyo Stadium on Friday the 20th of September, with the final at the International Stadium Yokohama on Saturday the 2nd of November. World Rugby Managing Director Brett Gosper says there'll be no problems with support for the event, even if, like England, Japan exit the competition in the group stages.
If you've got a good product on the field, if you've got great atmosphere in the tournament, then actually it's an incredibly resilient tournament, and people have remained interested. We've seen that through television ratings, and we've seen it in the fan zones and so on. So I think that comforts that should that happen in Japan, the tournament will roll on and be successful as it has been here.
That's Three Counties News and Sport, and I'll have more for you at 9.
Wish I could speak with my dog. I Wish I could speak with my dog. Wish I could speak with my dog. 'Cause right now it's just a monologue. Wish I could walk on a cloud. Wish I could walk on a cloud. Wish I could walk on a cloud. I sure wish cloud walking was allowed. I wish every wish would come true. I wish every wish would come true. I wish every wish would come true. 'Cause it sure feels good when they do.
Morning, losers. Iain Lee. No, hang on a second. Morning, guys. Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Carpet Martin's upset. Oi! He says, Oi! Mush, mush. I'm from Blackpool, and I used to work on the pleasure beach. It's full of pleasure. It's not. It is miserable. And in this weather, there's nothing more heartbreaking, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, than going to Britain's seaside resorts. There's more to that sentence. During the winter months. It's just like it's God's waiting room. It really is a very, very depressing sight. You want pleasure? Have a listen to this lot. Smooth. This is a good headline, and this is almost a What's the Story Morning Glory kind of headline, but we won't play this game. But get off at this station. Kelly? Get off at this station. Kelly?
I thought you said you didn't want to.
Well, we're not playing it technically, but you can still guess what the story is. Get off at this station.
Is it to do with a radio station, a train station, a bus station?
I'll just do the story.
Oh no, I want to join in.
Pairs a railway romp.
Ooh. Oh dear.
Thought so. Hang on a second.
Ooh.
A sex-crazed couple romped. Just the best beginning to any story ever. A sex-crazed couple romped at a railway station as shocked passengers waited for a rush-hour train. Flippin' heck. So it's busy then. Oh, there's a picture of them. That picture's tiny. The randy teens... None of these are real words. I must write that book one day on words that are only used in newspapers or on radio, because none of these are real words. The randy teens stripped off in a bike shed. So far, that's the first real words we've heard, bike shed, for the X-rated show after getting all steamed up on the platform.
Romantic.
Very romantic. They were obviously a very loving couple. The youth had earlier exposed himself to other passengers. Naughty. Then it goes on, he and a friend had also urinated on the platform. Naughty. Stunned onlookers called 999. I'm stunned and I'm on looking at this. I'm going to call 999. But the group had scarpered by the time cops arrived. The two male... this is the police speak now. 4 youths, 2 male and 2 female, entered the station. The 2 males then urinated on the platforms before one of them threw a large bag of rubbish onto the tracks. He then jumped down and trespassed on the tracks. The other exposed himself on the platform before entering the cycle sheds with one of the females, where they engaged in indecent sexual activity. He added, it certainly can't have been pleasant for the other passengers on the platform and may have witnessed it. Now, you go speaking for yourself, officer. I would love to have caught an eyeful of that. I would love to. Might be what I'm missing.
What would you have done?
I would have been shocked that I was onlooking and I would have dialed 999. I don't know, I wouldn't have dialed. I'd gone, oi! 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 Not you, them! Get them! Can you get them? Tap them! No, them! The ones with the... Yes, them! What are you doing? Well, pack it in! That's what I would have done. I'd have bought a can of Coke and poured it over their heads. I don't know. What do you do with when you find rotting animals? I don't know what you get up to. That's what I would have done. Is Dealey there?
Have a look.
Let's have a little. It's like a lucky Dealey dip. Oh dear, no, that's thoroughly unpleasant. He's there. I heard the dirty, less gravelly chuckle than it used to be. Imagine that.
Hang on, boss. What? Just say that again. It's like a what? Sorry, it's like a what?
Sorry.
You just said it's like a dirty something.
A dirty Dealey dip.
That's outrageous.
Why?
I don't come to work to be treated like that.
Well, where do you normally go? Hey, the old ones are indeed the oldest.
The best,
no,
yes.
I didn't know if you were on because whoever's in charge of my screen has not typed on the screen that you're there.
Oh, that's Danny again, isn't it? Kit Kat boy.
No.
Are you taking a break, Danny? Are you having two fingers? You taking two fingers, are you?
Yep.
Right, so
Wasn't
Danny's
me.
fault.
Wasn't me.
If he wants this job, then he really has to.
I was just about to check if you
pull
were there,
those two
Justin.
fingers out.
Yeah, and get a new jumper.
I haven't got a jumper on.
Exactly, you should have one. You should have one to cover that shirt, which is a disgrace
There's
to the
nothing wrong with my
Aborigine
shirt.
race. My boomerang won't come back.
Justin, what do you think to my shirt?
Your shirt's not very good. Listen, if you want to work on the breakfast show, the award-winning breakfast show, you need swag.
What's wrong
Is
with
John
my
Gall
shirt?
coming back? Oh, you mean this one? We did win an award, didn't we? Yes.
It's just not good enough.
Dealey. Oh, hang on. Oh, right. We put out the Akbar Dad Khan signal, and it's worked. Or tell him I just want to know. I don't want to talk about anything boring. I just want to know if it's true that Indian people like Elvis.
Ask him yourself.
Oh, that's right. Akbar.
Good morning.
I don't want to talk about anything boring. I just want to know. When I grew up in Slough, I used to have loads of Indian friends, primarily Indian, a few Pakistani, a few Bangladesh, primarily Indian, right? And every time I went round their house after school for tea, the majority of them would have in their living room a framed picture of Elvis Presley, right? And I asked my friend Ajit Nanda about this, and he said, well, my mum thinks that Elvis was Indian. Is any of this ringing true with the ADK, the Akbar Dad Khan?
It certainly doesn't ring true with me, ADK at all. And I haven't come across with any Indian, or for that matter, Pakistani household where in their living room there would be the pictures of Elvis Presley. Yes, on occasions I've seen pictures of Elvis Presley here and there among Asian communities, and that shows that.
Akbar, sorry to interrupt, Justin. Could you stop stroking your chin, mate? It's disturbing the broadcast.
I'm not stroking my chin. It's just a man on the street who's sweeping the streets because when I go onto the streets, he wants to make sure everything around me is clean.
Okay,
fair enough.
Justin.
Yes, boss.
Justin, you are looking for some famous songs, and if you could play me a song by Lata Mangeshkar, an Indian legend, you will make my day.
Okay, yeah, leave it with me, Akbar.
By who?
But Lata Mangeshkar.
How are you spelling Lata Mangeshkar?
Lata, that is Lata, Lata.
Lata?
First, yeah, second name Mangeshkar, M-A-N.
Yeah.
G-E-S-H-E-R.
Hang on, back in a minute. You just there was a made-up letter in there. M-A-N-G what?
No. M-A-N.
Yeah.
G-E-S-H.
G-E-S. No, what? S-H. Oh, yeah.
G-E-S-H.
Again, there's a made-up letter in there somewhere.
It's Lata Mangeshkar.
No, we're not going to play any of that rubbish.
Was it a turntable hit?
No. She's a legend, Ian.
No, we're not playing. We're not playing any of that rubbish.
Listen, you would be dancing after hearing a song from her. Oh.
It's not really kicking off so far, Akbar.
No. It's a great song. Keep going. Wonderful.
I tell you what I like. I tell you what we're gonna have. I tell you what. Now this, my friend. This is a classic, right? You ready for a classic? Yeah. All together. We're all going to join in together. Oh, it's an advert. Hang on a second. We've got to wait for the advert to pass. Akbar.
I think I know what you're going to play.
No. You simply don't know. This advert is 7 minutes long. How can it be a 7-minute advert? Hang on a second. You don't know what I'm going to play. This, you're going to know this one, Akbar. Classic. Here we go. The same lad that had Elvis. You ready? Hang on. Here we go. Let me get to the song. Here comes the song. You ready? You going to sing along, Akbar?
Yes, I am here.
Johnny Janardam Barabaram Pam 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 Parabam Johnny Janardam Barabaram Pam 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 Pam. Go on, Akbar.
Yes, wonderful,
what?
Good.
Okay, Akbar. Okay, let's test your credentials. Name the film.
Oh, I've seen this. That's a 70s film.
Yeah, name the film. Name the film.
Sorry, I'll fail there.
In that case, I'm afraid you're fired. Of course, it's Nasib.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25, an accident anti-clockwise is causing delays from junction 18 for Chorleywood to junction 14 for Heathrow, joining up with the rush hour queues, so there are delays back past the M4 and the M40. On the A1M, it's busier than usual southbound between junction 10 for Stotfold and 7 for Stevenage. And in Henlow on Arsley Road, that's been partially blocked by an accident at Hitchin Road. Arsley.
You said Arsley. Say it again.
Arsley.
There we go, thank you.
In Codicott on the B656, that's very slow southbound between the Three Horses Lane and Rabley Heath Road, and on the A5 High Street North in Dunstable, it's very slow southbound between Houghton Road and Brewers Hill Road through the roadworks. In Bisham on the A404, they're accused southbound because of a police incident between the Temple turnoff and the Henley turnoff, which is causing a delay back from the M40 at the High Wycombe Handycross roundabout. And East Midlands trains have delays between Luton and St Pancras because a train's broken down. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed, Sammy. Dealey, stay there. We got sidetracked by Akbar, as we often do. Where are we now? 8:46. These are your headlines. Cancer Research UK says vital opportunities to diagnose patients early and increase their chances of survival are being missed. Ollie Martins, Bedfordshire's Police and Crime Commissioner, will be in Luton's main shopping centre today to encourage people to sign a petition against cuts to funding Bedfordshire's police force. And Kamran Farougi from Hertsmere is calling upon Iran to release his dad. Kamal Farougi, who holds dual British and Iranian citizenship, has served more than half of an 8-year jail sentence. Let's get the weather!
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, the Met Office have a yellow warning in place for rain until 11 o'clock concerning Hertfordshire. But there's rain pretty much for all of us as we head through the day. It gradually clears to the north, leaving behind some sunny spells. The further west and south you are, the more chance you have of seeing those. Temperatures reaching 14 degrees Celsius. Tonight, it's mainly dry, clear to start off with, but we have cloud building through the early hours of the morning with lows of 9 degrees. Dry and bright first thing tomorrow, but there is a band of rain sweeping eastwards, bringing with it gusty winds. It's pretty drizzly stuff, but it's staying with us through the afternoon and into the night. Temperatures up to 14 degrees. Now, overnight, heavier rain joins in and continues into Friday, leaving showers behind in the afternoon. But it is looking dry and brighter over the weekend. Cloudier on Sunday, but staying mild, with some mist and fog patches at night and in the morning. That's your latest forecast.
Thank you very much.
on this week's Best Of podcast.
What's all this about kicking a cow, Peter? Line 3, what would you like to say?
Download all the latest podcasts at bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio.
Morning, Ian. How are you?
Is that your real voice?
Hi.
Is that your real dog?
The Iain Lee Best Of podcast.
What's the youngest Gary you know? I need you to talk about Kelly in the past tense, okay? Do you know what that means? I forgot Grumpy Jamie was coming in today.
Yeah.
What a buzzkill. Remind us why I thought it was a good idea to invite you in.
Download all the latest podcasts at bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio.
Big turntable hit. Hit the bass. All together now. Chewy mooey, chewy mooey, chewy mooey. Chewy mooey, chewy mooey, chewy mooey. That Indian dancing, knife hard on the arms, isn't he? He needs strong arms for that stuff. Needs strong arms for that, Justin. The arms are up constantly. Constantly. Oh.
Yeah, beautiful.
Rappo, rappo. This is Darla Mendy. Darla Mendy, man, what a guy. What a absolute chewy mooey, chewy mooey. Chewy mooey, chewy mooey, chewy mooey. I don't really know the chorus. Right, the phones have gone mental. Hang on a second. Ben?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yes, sir! What have you got for us, boss?
Well, I was just thinking coming in, and I thought, how's bells? I've just heard about cows. I feel I've been cut with a knife. The one consolation, upon her reincarnation, right across the nation, we just might see Kelly on telly.
Never going to happen. Thanks, Ben. How did that make you feel as a person, Kelly?
That was special.
Yeah, okay, there we go. John's, hang on a minute, Dealey. John's on the line. More, thank you, Ben. Yes, John.
Hello, young man. How are you?
I'm very well, old man. What you got for us?
Old man?
Sorry?
Oh, dear, oh, dear.
Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. What are you, 50, 56?
You ain't far out.
Yeah, I know. I'm good at that. I'm 42 and I'm old, John. So if you're older than me, we're knackered, mate.
I feel it.
Do you remember being 24? We were 24 once.
24.
Remember it?
No.
Yeah? No, not at all. What you got for us, John? You love Blackpool.
I wouldn't say I love Blackpool. I mean, areas of it are, unfortunately, probably, for people who live there, run down. The council seem to be spending a lot of money on the seafront. I've been up there the last 2 summers for the ultimate Elvis tribute contest.
Sorry? What, the ultimate Elvis tribute contest in Blackpool?
It's a European thing. They have it in England, they have it there. And it is a really good 3-day weekend.
Oh, and I bet the event... Do you know what? I bet that sounds like an absolute riot. And I'd love a bit of that, Dealey. That sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah, right up my street. Beautiful.
I just wouldn't go to Blackpool for it.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, you don't get a lot of choice if that's where it's hosted. But, you get yourself up there. It is a fabulous weekend.
But it's not. But it's not Blackpool that's making it fabulous. It's the fact that you got a load of Elvises there. That Elvi. That's what's making it fabulous. You're locked in a hotel ballroom with a load of Elvi. As soon as you step out and you
gardens.
Oh, but it's just so miserable up there, John.
It's what you make of it, though. No matter where you go, it's what you make of it.
Hey,
they are trying up there. If you go up the seafront, they are doing stuff at the seafront.
John, thank you very much indeed. Very wise words there from John Dealey. It's what you make of it.
I've got an idea. Okay?
Go on, fella. Yeah, go on.
Why don't for the next Elvis International Conference? Why don't we go up there and follow the local Elvis impersonators and report back?
Yeah,
What do you reckon?
I'm
Yeah?
up for that. Yeah. Do you remember in the old day when the BBC could do what it wanted, but it had way too much? There used to be incinerators around the back of the BBC where they would just burn all the excess money that they had, right?
Yeah,
and the
great
BBC was
times.
king and could do anything. You remember those times, right?
Yeah.
And local radio would go and do broadcasts from like different parts of the world. I've heard stories that the breakfast show here once went to America.
Absolutely
And did the show
true,
from America.
That was Martin Coote, yeah.
Well, come on then, guys. As tribute to Cootsy, can't we go up to Blackpool for the Elvis tribute?
We're not asking for much, are we?
We're just asking for a week in Blackpool, guys. That's all. Hang on a minute, Katya.
Hello, yes?
Yes, no. Dealey's about to do his piece, and he's got a nice little thing about what you found in gardens.
Good for him, yes.
Well, no, not good for him, mate. Good for the listener. Good for the listener.
Excellent value, quality.
So what I'm going to suggest, Katya. Oh.
Yeah?
Yeah. Is we let Justin do his thing.
Yes.
Is this? Well, no. You sound like you've got a problem. We let Justin do his thing.
Okay.
Because he stood out in the. He's chucking it down there, mate. You must be
Horrible,
soaking.
Yeah, pneumonia coming back on again.
I mean, he has looked death in the face.
Umbrellas. They're good.
No, I'm too hard for that.
Listen, here's my thing, right? And this is a genuine problem. I hate umbrella users, right?
What?
Well, 'cause I was in Oxford Street yesterday, and it wasn't raining. But if it had been, I've been in Oxford Street in the rain. You got these people holding umbrellas, right? If you've got an umbrella, it's your job to negotiate the streets. You go up, you go down, you tilt it to the left, you tilt it to the right. Well, the people walking around you, that's like saying, oh, I've got a car and I'm just going to drive straight and everyone has to get out of my way. No. The owner of the car is responsible for not hitting other people. The same should apply to umbrella users, Just.
I'll tell you something, boss. Okay, would you let somebody on the roads without a driving licence? No, you wouldn't.
No,
okay,
mate.
So maybe we should have an umbrella licence in this country.
Heck, you have just
Yes.
you've just actually managed to sum up my my argument in that I've had for years in a few words. Thank you, mate. Yes, you've clarified it. Yeah, we should have an umbrella licence.
You're dilly-dallying. Dilly-dallying. He can't do his bits now.
What's the Belgium for dilly-dallying?
Oh,
Is there a Belgium for it?
I don't speak Belgian anymore.
What do you speak? What do you speak? Flemish.
I wanted to apologise to Kelly.
Okay, well, we can do that in a minute. Can we please do Justin Peace first? Because he's out in the rain, as we've agreed. We both dislike umbrellas intensely, and the people that use them, well, the spawn of the devil, and I think shooting's too good for them. So, Dealey, I don't want you to have an umbrella.
Okay.
A sou'wester? You know, one of those little yellow... A sou'wester, Katya?
I never heard about them.
Well, you're about to. Those little yellow plastic hats that sailors used to wear.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, sou'wester.
Sou'wester?
Sou'wester.
How do you write that?
Sou'wester.
Sou'wester.
Who's dilly-dallying now? Or as they say, dans la français, la poula, la poulet.
Yes. Please, Justin, do your bit now.
Please, Justin, do your bit now. Katya's kindly getting... Katya will come to you after this bit. You have plenty of time, I promise.
Okay, right, boss. Earlier on, you were talking about Deb Rockstars. You said take that to the streets. To be fair, it was a bit bland.
It was
the same odd names. Okay,
little bit grey, yeah.
But then, at about 10 to 8, you said, after talking about World War II shells being found in Potter's Bar,
He was good, that guy, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, found those in the back garden. You said, what's the most unusual thing you found in your back garden?
Yes.
I've taken this one to the streets. It gets very, very dark. Just to warn you, it gets very, very dark at the end.
Should I turn the Indian pop music off?
I think you should for this one because it gets incredibly dark. In fact, so dark I can't see. Here's what happened on the streets. Oh, Beverly, I love this story already. Beverly, tell us about the most unusual thing you found in your back garden.
A milk churn, whatever it's called, from a dairy. It was buried in the garden when we first moved in, and apparently the house used to be a dairy room.
It's fantastic.
Years ago, of course, but yeah.
So when you found it, what did you do with it?
We gave it to the actual dairy because we found out where it moved to, the dairy, and apparently they've given it to a museum.
Oh, this is brilliant. So now people from across the world are coming to look at your equipment.
Yes.
Paul, what's the most unusual thing you found in your back garden? Open up on the streets.
An old tin, that was it. An old tin, and it still had some writing on it, and it was like a condensed milk, but it's from years ago.
Yeah. So a piece of historic milk.
Yes. Okay.
Thanks for opening up on the streets, Paul.
No problem.
We've had a few silly answers. Tell us what you found in your back garden.
A dead body.
How did you find it?
I'm doing landscape gardening.
You were doing landscape gardening and you come across...
A dead body. It was a female. We know that, but we don't know the name, age. Police come along, private investigators and things, and just took it away in a bag. They said, was you scared? No, not at all.
How can you not be scared if you find a dead body in your back garden?
Because my family are undertakers, we're used to it.
Right.
You're seeing grim sights and things like that.
My God. Did you ever find out who it was?
No, we didn't. We done the right thing by calling the police, and they just said thank you.
Good grief, that is a very dark way to end this package. OK, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
There you go.
Wow.
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 It happens more and more often, finding
No,
dead
it
bodies.
doesn't, Katya.
doesn't.
Katya,
It
it doesn't. Listen, Katya, do you want to do your bit now, quickly?
Okay, Kelly.
We haven't got time, sorry.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are delays on the M25 anti-clockwise between junction 19 for Watford and 16 for the M40 after an accident earlier. It's also busy on the A1M southbound between junction 10 for Startfold and 7 for Stevenage. And as a result, in Caldicott southbound on the B656, there are extra queues between the Three Houses Lane and Rabley Heath Road. In Henlow, Arsley Road has been partially blocked in both directions by an accident at Hitchin Road. And on the A5 High Street north in Dunstable, it's very slow between through the roadworks at Brewers Hill Road. On the A404 in Bisham, there are queues because of a police incident between the Temple turn-off and the Henley turn-off, with delays from the M40. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. Sorry, Katya. You just understand live radio, the things get shifted all over the place. Tomorrow, Katya, I promise. We'll get...
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Iain. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon-Smith. It's Wednesday. It's pouring with rain. It's 9 o'clock, but on today's big phone-in, do we actually need bobbies on the beat in beds, hearts and bucks? Two of the country's most senior police officers have signalled that the era where we saw bobbies on the beat is over. The chairwoman of the National Police Chiefs Council and the Deputy Commissioner of the Met say there's no money left to pay officers to patrol the streets. Instead, the police will focus on big investigations and cybercrime, and they'll expect people to get involved in do-it-yourself policing too. Well, the Hemel MP and Policing Minister Mike Penning, he's told the BBC crime is falling, and it's not how many officers we have that counts, it's how they're deployed. Well, I want to know from you, do we actually need bobbies on the beat here in Beds, Hearts and Bucks? Here's my telephone number for your call. It's 03459 455 555.
This is the JVS show
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I'll take your call in just a second, but first let's get the latest BBC News at 9 o'clock with John Kay.
The headlines: cancer could be identified earlier, Thames Valley Police appeal for witnesses to a fatal accident, and Bedfordshire calls for more funds for the police.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Cancer Research UK says there's unacceptable variation between different parts of England in how quickly cancer's diagnosed. It says almost 20,000 cases could be caught earlier if all regions match the performance of the best. Sarah Williams from the charity says improvements could be relatively easy to make.
Public awareness, so encouraging people to go and see their doctor if they do notice any unusual persistent changes to their bodies, making sure that doctors are supported and have the correct help so they can be trying to make the best decision for the person in front of them, and then finally making sure that once that doctor has made a decision, that whether it's tests, whether it's seeing a specialist, whether it's a hospital appointment, that happens as swiftly and smoothly as possible.
Volkswagen have announced big losses in its first figures since the scandal over rigged emissions tests broke last month. In the 3 months to September, it recorded an operating loss of £2.5 billion. It's the car maker's first quarterly loss in at least 15 years. A Hertfordshire man's calling for his 76-year-old father, who's unwell, to be released from an Iranian prison on compassionate grounds. Kamal Farougi holds dual British and Iranian citizenship. Jessica Cooper reports.
Kamal's son Kamran, who's from Hertsmere, says the family are begging the Iranian authorities to release him. He served more than half of an 8-year sentence for espionage at Evin Prison in Tehran, a charge which he's always denied. His family say they're worried about his health because he's been waiting for a full medical check for over a year. And given his age, they say it's time for him to be released.
Police are appealing for witnesses to a fatal accident near Milton Keynes yesterday. A pedestrian died after being hit by a lorry at Chicheley on the A509 at 10 to 9 yesterday morning. He was taken to Milton Keynes General Hospital but later died. David Cameron is to challenge claims by campaigners who want Britain to leave the European Union and adopt a looser relationship modelled on Norway.